Goddamn.
Yes, yes, that would be correct. That would be correct for a day like today because we are officially, finally,
Look at that.
one dude. Finally, why am I not centered? Is Bell moving? Is Bell starting to move my fucking camera again? What's going on here?
Back on it.
We are finally, 1 day away from WrestleMania weekend. Man, it's been a long road. it's been
Very
a
long.
it has been a long road to WrestleMania. Usually, road to WrestleMania is like your common, Cicero, maybe your Harlem, maybe your LaGrange. They have turned the road to WrestleMania into 294.
Correct.
That goddamn. Um dude, yeah, pretty crazy, bro. Pretty crazy, but we are finally here. We are finally here, and yeah, wow. How's everybody doing? Welcome back to another edition of the news. This is episode 262 of the news, and how is everybody doing? Like I said, here today on this episode of your Friday news, man. We actually have a bunch of news to go over here today with you guys, man. We got so much WWE news. It is
Finally.
finally we
Took
actually
WrestleMania weekend.
yes, it took WrestleMania weekend. A lot of this news actually does pertain to WrestleMania. We will not be talking about some of the
Like
odd,
drama, I guess.
rather takes that I don't know why TKO thought it was a good idea to ask, it seems, every wrestler about their choice of politics this weekend or
For the
this week.
weekend.
Um, but dude, I mean, there is man. I mean, I don't know what. Triple H has made some rather odd comments. Nick Khan has made some rather odd comments this week, and again, it seems like damn near every wrestler. I mean, I don't know if this is WrestleMania week or election week because it seems like every wrestler this week has been asked about their choice of politics. And
It's,
maybe it's just me, and I don't want to play armchair quarterback, but if I was them, I probably would have told whoever is asking me this to shut the fuck up because
I
you
like
you're asking Triple H, Nick Khan, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. All of these guys have been asked about their fucking choice of political party. I mean, what? Again, is this WrestleMania week or is this election week? So
you put more energy into this than they are the WrestleMania build at this point. Like Triple H tonight, I just want the critics to be fans. Ooh, that sounds like a man who's not confident with his product to me.
yeah,
Good God.
I did see he did show he did cover his comments he did make about I wish what did he say? He was like I wish every critic I could just tell him shut the fuck up and watch as a fan or something like that. So in other words, what he essentially or he clarified his comments on his social media on his We Don't Listen to Social Media campaign, which I'm sorry, that is a solely Nick Khan campaign. Triple H listens to social
Yeah.
media. You can't fucking tell me. Triple H is smart and he has a smart gut feeling, but 9 times out of 10, he does listen to social media. He could tell you whatever he wants, but he reaffirmed it and he said like, well, if the social media is too strong, then we do go with it. So again, nobody was ever telling me Triple H does not listen to the fans of social media. I think he understands it's a small portion of their audience, and you do have to be present with the people in attendance. So I understand that, but again, you could sit there and tell me you don't listen to the fans all you want. You listen to the fans, and it's okay not to say
Exactly.
it because you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to,
Giving them that
be
power.
reaching into exactly. You don't want to be reaching into fans' DMs like Tony Khan does. But at the end of the day, you do want to also extend the olive branch to your fan base, in my honest opinion. But yeah, all I again, dude, all that's all the stuff, just all the stuff this weekend about, everybody talking about politics, or they're talking about, Nick Khan said some goof shit about we don't sign people to bench them or to sit them or something like that.
Tell me, do you not watch Friday Night SmackDown? You got fucking Andrade taking his glasses off every week. Like,
bro,
what do
they
you
fly him out to the arena to take his glasses off every week. This is what
bro just hits the
Yeah,
every
I
week. That's all he
I
does.
I can give you a lot of people that WWE signed and benched. Okay, um,
All of them got
so
signed and fucking released.
uh,
AOP.
yeah,
Ring any bells?
I mean, legit. I can give you a bunch of names. No need to go over them because we all know how outlandish that comment was, and we all know that's again. It's just not fucking true. He's talking about taking talent from AEW, and they they have enough fucking talent that they don't use. So I don't know. Odd, but
Very
regardless,
odd week. You would think
it's
that, you would talk about the excitement for WrestleMania more than anything, but doesn't seem to be a lot of that going around.
no, it doesn't. It seems like we're talking about everything but WrestleMania. And again, the comment about the comment I think that blew me the most is just shut up and watch as a fan.
Yeah.
So in other
Like,
words, shut the fuck up, don't have an opinion, and just eat shit for everything we give you.
yeah,
Basically is how I
doesn't
took it.
eat whatever slop we give you, whether it's good or not, you're just gonna enjoy it. Like, bro, what? Ugh,
I'm saying,
fucking
Bell,
PR
did
team
did
has
the
vacation.
yes, I I think the PR team, I genuinely think that they quite possibly have quit. Maybe they had some PTO. Maybe they fucking maybe they went on LOA. I mean, I don't fucking know. I don't I don't know what happened to the PR team, bro. I do not know what happened to the PR team, but regardless, if this is your first time watching, guys, do not know how the show works. Every Monday, we're on here after Monday Night Raw with Unscripted, and every Friday at 3 p.m. Central, we are on here with the news as well as for the pay-per-views for both WWE and AEW. We are live directly after the show goes off the air with the official post-show review. With that being said, the next two nights, actually, well, for the next two nights, you guys have us for the post-show reviews for WrestleMania, but you guys have us for the next 3 nights, because we got today, tomorrow, Sunday, and then Unscripted on Monday. So, if you guys did miss this past Monday's episode of Unscripted, will Seth Rollins align with The Rock and John Cena? That is
Mm.
Unscripted episode 241, I want to say. Um, you guys can now watch that on all platforms. That is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see it first, join us right here live every Monday after Monday Night Raw on YouTube. Also, if you guys have not got a chance to pick up some of the official NHP merchandise, you guys can now find this live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, man, where you can get this beautiful piece of NHP merchandise on that very site, man. Again, that is bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video. So, with all of that, if this is your first time watching, guys, do not know who we are here at NHP. I am Johnny, one half of the host of this very show. And as for the other half, we got my man, Sir K here. Sir K, go ahead and tell the people what you're smiling about today.
I'm smiling, man. It's WrestleMania weekend, and although, you think it would feel like we're about to, predict WrestleMania later on this episode, even though it doesn't really, even though I'm very excited for this weekend. Love WrestleMania weekend. You hang out with the people you care about, you watch a show you overall care about, and for us, we get to review the show with people we care about, talking to people we care about. So it's always a good weekend. I love these big WrestleMania weekends, man. I love talking with you guys each night, doing the post show, watching the show. Always great, man. Always great. Love WrestleMania weekend. So I'm very happy, man. I'm very excited for the weekend. I wish I was a little more excited for, the show itself, i.e. WrestleMania. But Hopefully, I think it'll deliver, man. And very excited to see both night reactions each night, and then the kind of in a way post WrestleMania weekend reaction with the unscripted episode on Monday. So very excited for everything this weekend, man. I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. But like Durante always asks, how's life? How's the family? Life's good. Family's good. How is everybody doing in the live chat? How's everyone doing watching the replay? What about you, bro? How are you doing?
I am doing good, bro. I am doing good. We are, yeah, like I said, man, they gave us a long road to WrestleMania, but we have finally made it. We have finally made it, and that is that is exciting. That I'm excited for. I'm excited that we finally made it through. We are finally at the destination, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's been a man. I strongly urge WWE not to do this again.
Please don't.
This is just too late in April, and to think that they wanted to do one in May. Again, unless you move the Royal Rumble up like significantly, you would have to move the Royal Rumble. You would literally have to move the Royal Rumble to like March, in order
Yeah.
for that to work.
And
Uh,
then imagine like the start of the year till Royal Rumble,
it
fucking
was
two
just
and a
like
half months
fluff
of
central.
nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I mean it's already bad enough that WWE usually kind of coasts after SummerSlam, or maybe not after SummerSlam, but maybe like as you get into, usually after their October pay-per-view, they kind of just ease into War Games, and then after that they kind of ease into everything else until Royal Rumble. Could you imagine them easing into War Games, but not only that, easing all the way through another 3 months of television? That would just fuck everything
Man,
up. If I could say one thing about Vince, he definitely had his times down. I like his
mhm.
early April, end of January Mania and Royal Rumble, because yeah, this is man, this is yeah, yes. Carol says in the comments, the few extra weeks hurt them. Yes, it did. If
It
you look
did.
at like I can use Gunther and Jay as an example. If you look at the first like month of that build, fluff.
Nothing. Yeah. If you just got off, like if we just had the last 3, 4 weeks of that, it'd be fucking 10 times better.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, man, I'm doing good though. WWE or Mattel is showing off all their they are showing off all of their new wrestling figures for the upcoming year. So that's exciting. It looks like we got some goodies coming our way. So I'm excited for that. I always get excited about the new figure reveals and whatnot. As you guys know, I'm a huge wrestling figure collector, have been for most
Hmm.
of my life. So um, I've probably collected figures longer than I haven't collected figures at this point. Um, so yeah, so that's been pretty cool. We got a nice look at some new Ultimate editions. We got a SummerSlam CM Punk coming in that like Bret Hart gear that from the McIntyre match. So that's probably been my favorite thing we've seen so far. Um, it's been my favorite, one of my favorite things we've seen so far, and I hope we see more. So, yeah. But other than that, man, I'm good. How's everybody doing in chat? As I see, we got my man Hunter. How are you doing, bro? Carol, Bell, the community outreach spokesperson for NHP, Bell, and my man Rainmaker, man. So, how are you guys doing? And thank you guys all for joining us here today for your news. So, speaking of the news, we brought you guys this a couple weeks ago, and I want to say it was 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, and we have gotten further down the rabbit hole with one Mariah May. Mariah May. So we brought to you guys, Hunter. Good
Same.
lord, you are not lying, bro. Usually, man, me and the missus, we go over to my OG's house, have some dinner, and stuff, and just hang out. This year we got to do a brunch, man. This year we got to do a brunch. So it is throwing everything off, man. It is absolutely throwing everything off. This is not the moves. This is absolutely
No,
not the moves. But we will get to that, because actually the one thing from an interview from Nick Khan we will be going over is it pertains to WrestleMania falling on Easter. Um so understandable. Understandable.
understandable, Bell.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
well, I hope. Are you so okay? So are you watching Coachella, or are you going to Coachella?
Yeah, I have. 'Cause isn't it in America?
I think. I don't know.
I think
Not
it is.
too.
I think
Not
it's in
too.
like Utah or something. I think it's like in like the Vegas area or like a desert or something. I
Might
have
be.
no clue.
Might be. Well, regardless. No, understandable. I gotta, I gotta request off days of pay-per-views and whatnot. I just gotta put my full focus and energy into that. So if not, the reviews, in my opinion, don't turn out as well. At least when we used to do it like that, it
Hmm.
just turns out odd. So I definitely get it. I definitely get it. But anyways, Mariah May. The first story for today: Mariah May, AEW's Mariah May, former AEW Women's Champion Mariah May. The same Mariah May that has probably a top 5 feud in company history against Timeless Tony Storm. She has made the rounds this week. There's a bunch of stories to go over, so we'll start from the top. The first one we heard, first one that broke, starting you guys off with, that's where it is. It's in California. Gotcha.
There it goes.
We're starting you guys off with some of the Uncle Dave Chronicles for this week, because Uncle Dave is back at it. He's back on the report. And this started a whole, like I said, this started the whole thing with Mariah May. Dave reported, the belief within AEW is that Mariah May is headed to WWE. While people within WWE know she wants to join the company, Mariah May's contract is set to expire later this year. People close to May said prior to her signing with AEW, her dream is WWE. Now, as this pertains to her contract, PW Insider shed a little bit more light on this, stating that Mariah May has significant time left on her AEW contract. One source believed May's AEW deal could run through November, while another believes there may not be additional time beyond that. May has not been on the road since AEW Revolution. In terms of AEW side of things, Fightful added to the Mariah May storm here, and they went on to say, while there are some that believe May is expected to go to WWE, there are sources who claim May is being wise and maximizing her leverage and negotiating power. AEW absolutely hopes to retain Mariah May. Now, Dave Meltzer, days later, yesterday to be exact, would then shed a little bit more light on the situation, saying that Mariah May reportedly told AEW close to Revolution she did not want to sign a new deal with the company. There has reportedly been talks within WWE about her joining the company. And there has been talk in WWE regarding Mariah May coming in, with it being known by key people in WWE. The belief is that she wants to come in. Okay, well, uh,
Crazy.
do you want to say the heist of the century?
Quite literally, man. I mean, no one. I've never seen no one do it like that, man. I mean, you come in, you get a spot instantly in the world title situation. You proceed to have one of their best feuds ever, and then after all said and done, you look to leave, man. I mean, you said it, man. Heist of the century.
See, It would make sense. So I know a lot of a couple weeks ago we reported that the belief was that her contract was up in the summer, and the report here by PW Insider makes a little bit more sense that it runs through November, because I believe she came in around November of
Yeah.
2023. So that would make the most sense, but oh my god. She managed, if she ends up leaving AEW, which would be a big loss for AEW, because I think Mariah May was good coming in there, and I think if
Hmm.
she leaves there, she leaves great. And
Oh yeah.
she has developed her game a lot in AEW, and she had a pretty good run in AEW. Honestly, bro, minus her women's title reign, there was the match with Thunder Rosa at I want to say World's End. That was okay. But other than that, I can absolutely see why Mariah would want to leave for a multitude of reasons, being that, you know, WWE obviously, you look at Mariah May, and if I'm her, and I'm looking at the landscape of these two divisions, you're looking at a division in WWE that grows people exponentially, right? You look at
Mhm.
like a Rhea
Rhea
Ripley,
Ripley.
you look at a Bianca Belair, you look at Io Sky, right? The three women that are involved in a world championship match. You look at a Tiffany Stratton, and you can just see throughout their careers how well they've been developed. Now, if you want to bring it a little more recent, look at Mariah May's good friend, Julia. Look
Hmm.
at Stephanie Vaquer. Look at these people that, I guess in Stephanie Vacur's case, that left AEW, or, I guess sort
Didn't choose
chose,
AEW.
yeah, worked AEW a couple times, but ended up choosing AEW, or ended up choosing WWE over AEW. I feel like Mariah May knows that that title reign was about as big of an indication as you can get to saying to yourself, they kind of only use me because Tony Storm probably wanted to work with me really bad, and Tony Khan just kind of went along because it was a great story. And Tony was
Yeah.
right for going along because it was a great story. But what Tony was not right for was having no plan for Mariah May after her feud with Tony Storm. See, Tony opted to put the title on Mariah May and do nothing with her. And how is that supposed to make one think?
Exactly. She literally was forgotten about by Tony Khan when she was champion until Tony Storm came back.
Exactly. Exactly. And it seemed, and that was one of my big concerns when Mariah lost the championship, was, okay, well, now let's see if you care about Mariah May after Tony Storm is gone, because the little glimpse we seen from those couple months that Tony was gone from AEW, from August to November or whatever it was, they they showed you right then and there, in my opinion, they didn't really care to use Mariah May unless Tony Storm was involved, because of how amazing that story was. And
Mhm.
honestly, I really do not. I really would not blame Mariah May for leaving one bit, because, again, look at the track record in WWE and look in the track record in AEW. Now, again, is WWE perfect? Not saying that
No.
in the slightest. There are a handful of women that they do not fucking use. Lyra Valkyria and Chelsea Green, both of their new championships, their new mid-card championships, are not on the WrestleMania card. Lyra's on the card, but she's not defending her title on the card, even though there was a couple blatantly obvious things you could do with her there. You look at people like Alexa
Bliss.
Bliss. You look at how they've treated Nikki Cross as a member of the Wyatt Six. She's literally just a valet that crawls. And you look at and I mean, there's more. I'm, of course, I can't think of them now, but there's a lot more women in WWE that that do not get the light of day, but they should. Again,
Mhm.
the biggest one, honestly, that comes to my mind at the moment is Alexa Bliss, but you get what I'm saying. But then you look at AEW. There's a lot more women in AEW that don't get used than women that don't get used in WWE. And the track record
Creator.
in WWE is obviously they will make you a much bigger star than AEW will. That's just plain and simple. So I could absolutely see Mariah May leaving. Now, she's made a couple posts. She's made a couple cryptic posts, maybe insinuating that, people don't really know what's going on. So maybe you can give the benefit of the doubt to AEW there. But honestly, man, I think she's done about everything that there is to do in AEW. Now, of course, you can say, well, they can create something for her to do. That's, having nothing to do is never a good excuse. But it's a pretty good excuse when you have a booker that doesn't really know what he's doing. Um,
Exactly. When it's not an obvious, like, title reign or title chase or an obvious story, he doesn't always go for it.
yeah, and again, and people said that a lot in WWE back when Vince was running things. Oh, there's nothing left for this guy to do. Okay, Triple H took over, and Kevin Owens sure looks like he
Also.
has a lot to do now. So,
Mhm.
you know what I mean. So it's like there's always something for somebody to do. You can always create story for somebody to do, and somebody can always slot into something if you have a booker that often does the right thing and often knows what he's doing. But again, Tony has blatantly showed you he does not know what he's doing with Mariah May. My honest opinion, man, my honest opinion is I think Mariah should go to WWE. She can stay in AEW. She can have banger matches, and you got Mina Shirakawa coming in, so you can obviously do a nice little story there. But is Tony really going to propel her into the star that she should be? Is he really going to put her front and center into a division where he already has people that I think he likes more than her, in
Mhm.
Mercedes and Tony Storm? And I'm sure you could even slot names like Chris Statlander in there and just other names that I just honestly feel Tony likes
Like,
more than Mariah May, because again, if there was any indication, let it be that fucking women's title reign, man. I mean, that was horrible. That was
gave her
absolutely
nothing.
atrocious.
Gave her nothing. No moments, no promos that were like, Carol says in the ring. Were
Yeah.
just nothing but backstage segments, man. And I think the safer bet is WWE. I think that's the safer bet. There, sometimes you strike gold in AEW. Tony Khan really likes you, and you're used very constantly and very well. That's a rare occurrence, man. Not a lot of people get that. So I think the safer bet is WWE for Mariah May.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, that is the latest on Mariah May, man, as it seems she is looking, at least up until this point, it looks like she is looking to head over to WWE. So this should be very interesting, and I'm very excited to see her go over there. She was one of my favorites in AEW. I think she's fantastic in the ring. I think she's very hard hitting. You could definitely tell the Japan influence on her.
Mhm.
Her drop kick is one of my favorite moves in all of women's wrestling. I just think she has a great drop kick, and I think she's a great talent. She could wrestle her ass off, and obviously one thing that I would one thing that I think could be could really stand her out, and one thing that I think WWE would really love her for is that fucking promo ability. I mean,
It's
she
really good.
oh my god, man, she is a great promo, dude, and WWE would be all over that shit like fucking white on rice, man. So I think WWE would be the safer bet, but like I said, man, I would not also count out with the cryptic posts that she's been, tweeting out and stuff or posting on her Instagram story. It could also be a case, like Bell says, of her just using her leverage, man. So I
Yeah,
could see that as well. But if I was Mariah May, I would go to WWE for sure.
I think it's a safer bet. My only hope with WWE is obviously they're not going to do it all the time because it's WWE, but occasionally let her get bloody like she likes to, because that's an element that I think can really help the women in WWE if she can bring that in.
I would hope so. I would
I
hope
really
so.
hope
Yeah,
so.
I would hope. WWE does not like to do that a lot with the women. Um,
No, they don't, and
so
I hope they can have like an outlier in her.
yeah, that's what I was gonna that's what I was gonna say. In case of your point, and maybe Mariah could be one of the first
You,
people to really kind of incorporate uh that element and kind of have that element in not in her character but I guess in some of her matches because again
yeah,
she's a pretty sadistic heel and we've seen her in some pretty brutal matches, man. So she can work, bro. She can work. She's a really good worker, man. And I think WWE would absolutely love to have her, and I think she would thrive in there. And
I think so.
more of her style. Like I said, if you really want to do a lot of hardcore stuff with Mariah May, then obviously, and if Mariah wants to do a lot of hardcore type stuff, AEW would be the place for her. But if she wanted to be about as well rounded as you can get in every category, then I think
Yes.
WWE it would be the place for her. Could you imagine Mariah May in a Hell in a Cell match?
Like that type of shit. Her and those women's war games they put on,
Hmm.
she would be the standout instantly.
Yeah,
Like, let her do that type of stuff, man. I hope they would.
yeah, definitely, definitely, man. So, uh, man, hopefully, Hunter, if
Be
Charlotte chose
Mariah
to be a
Carey,
good
Joe.
worker that day, yeah, if
If,
Charlotte,
if Charlotte likes her, if she doesn't feel intimidated or disrespected, then it'll be a good feud.
there you go, there you go. So moving over to some more AEW stuff, we got some unfortunate injury news on Pac. According to Uncle Dave, there is reportedly early talk that Pac's injury will see him out of action for 4 months.
That's the rest of the that's the rest of that's hopefully the rest of the Death Riders feud, man. That's very unfortunate.
We
You could get the last 2 months of
I
it.
was gonna say, hopefully by that point we don't have another 2 months of Death Riders to go. Honestly, dude, I think, and judging off the ending they did on Wednesday, I
I
think
think
I think that was a notion for Tony Khan to say,
it
okay,
will end at
this
all.
needs to end because look at how that crowd reacted to John
It
Moxley
lost that
getting
shit.
pinned. That crowd was going ape shit. That was actually a really cool moment. I thought it was a really
That
cool
was
moment, and I thought the ending to Dynamite this week was pretty good because again, that crowd was going fucking bananas to see John Moxley get incapacitated. Now just imagine what babyface
all
ends up
13.
doing it at All In. And I honestly at this point, I honestly think it's going to be a triple threat. I think it's going to be
I could see
Osprey,
it.
Darby and Moxley.
I'd be down for that. I'd be very much okay with that.
Yeah.
All 13,000 people going crazy. I think it's the way to go.
Hey, better than the 700 they get for Dynamite. I'll take
Yeah, it is true.
13,000 over their fucking amphitheaters that they have.
From fucking from
They're
80,000 to fucking 13. Ah,
uh yeah, I'll take the 13,000 over their musical theaters that they have to rent out for Dynamite now. But
lit.
so
God.
Yeah, I think it's gonna end up being a triple threat. I see a lot of people, I see a lot of people saying, I see a lot of people upset about that idea, and I don't get the hate at
Yeah.
that point. Again, you got to keep that same energy at that point. And a couple years ago, back when Edge won the Royal Rumble, everybody was like, "Oh, you gotta put Bryan in the match because it's the right move," and it was the right move. I didn't hear
Hmm.
you guys complaining, well, they can't put him in because Edge won the Royal Rumble, and then that makes the Royal Rumble meaningless. He could still win the Owen and get the title shot in a triple threat match, in my honest opinion. I don't see a big problem with that because, again,
No.
look at what look at what I look at what I uh suggested for this year's WrestleMania was Punk winning the Rumble, but then still doing a triple threat match. Like you could still, I don't know,
You can still do that.
but it's AEW, so people
People
picking,
are think
yeah,
too straightforward with AEW with their booking. But even with that, you got a triple threat. You have an idea. You have a way to expand Will Ospreay's character. Maybe he gets frustrated after his loss. Maybe he has a down period in his mind, and you could do a lot with a loss of a main guy like Will Ospreay. It could do a lot more good than it can do bad if you do it right.
yeah. Honestly, that's what I would do because it gives you options. You have, and we know Tony probably doesn't choose the winner until the day of, but it gives you options. If you end up doing a triple threat, you have an option between Darby and Osprey. So if you put Darby in the match, there's a story there. There's a story
Mhm.
there, so you can capitalize on whatever little pieces you can capitalize on with Darby and Moxley, because again, there is a story there. And then Will won the Owen, so obviously that gains him that shot. You can have Darby win, and then you can have Will get the match at London and beat
Yeah,
Darby at London and Forbidden Door, or at Forbidden Door. So honestly, that's what I would do,
something like
personally.
that.
And I think the triple threat would be pretty cool, and I think it would be cool to see. I think it would be cool to see people, different people come out. I see. A lot of people wanting the WrestleMania 40 type ending for All In, and I think that would be the way to go about it. Just make sure your
Mhm.
cameos make sense like they did at WrestleMania 40.
Exactly.
Don't be fucking trotting the Great Muta out there, but there are cameos that do make sense. If Darby's in the match, you can have an easy Sting cameo.
Easy.
Me and Sir K usually go pretty fucking bonkers when Seek and Destroy
That's my
hits.
dog.
But and then obviously you have the obvious Brian Danielson. You can have Brian Danielson come in, whether he can get physical or not. If he can get physical, then he can get physical. If he can't, you could fucking have him hit John Moxley in the back with a chair or some shit. I don't know. Um,
Mm. Even have them be like up in the rafters, up in the as a distraction, something like that. You could do a million things.
yeah. So there is quite a bit of options you can have, but assuming Darby makes it back in time, hopefully he does, then I would do a triple threat match, my honest opinion.
I would.
Either way, they have good options. You're either getting
They
Darby
do.
Moxley, Osprey Moxley, or a triple threat match. So I mean, either way, hopefully the Death Rider story ends at All In. So um
Please. All I'm
Jesus.
asking for, dude. It's
But
that's my only request going into All In is that
yes.
that shit finally ends.
Yes, and if Darby's there, my second request, please, can we see a Sting cameo? Please.
Please. I love the goat.
I love seeing Sting, bro. I really do.
I'm
However,
telling you.
Pac Pac is on the shelf for 4 months, and Claudio, he expected this. He
He
expected this.
expected it.
Yep.
He expected his boy to just get injured, I guess. I don't know if he's a fortune teller.
He said in the
I don't
backstage to the musical amphitheater hallway, he said, "We expected casualties."
expected our own guys to fall. Not by the quality of our enemies, but just by the quality of our ankles. I guess he had read a fortune. Maybe that's what's on that Claudio jacket. Maybe it's fortune cookies, and one of them said that Pac was going to get injured. Maybe.
Yeah, so, that would have made sense, Claudio, if you did a segment where like they attacked Pac and they took him out
Yeah.
to try to, you know, dead the Death Riders, but no, I guess Claudio just expected his boy to get hurt via his promo. So, it takes 2 months. It takes 6 to 8 weeks to climb Mount Everest. So, or it takes 9 weeks. So, 2
Hmm.
months and a week. So,
Hmm.
Darby should be back in June, I hope.
God, I hope.
Um, but yeah, Pac is out of action for 4 months, and that definitely does suck. And I threw out the prediction that the Death Riders would end up, if they do want to. Well, now they're not the trios champions anymore, so I don't know if they're going to. I don't know if they're going to add anybody in general. Do not be surprised if they add Jack Perry, just because of the
There we
beef with the Young Bucks and all that other stuff. I threw my name in that hat, especially we've kind of seen promos of John Moxley liking Jack Perry. We've seen backstage segments, so do not be surprised.
I really wouldn't be surprised at all, man. Yeah, that's probably going to be the replacement.
Speaking of um speaking of factions and people joining factions, we have AEW's newest signee. As of this Wednesday, AEW has signed Josh Alexander. He officially made his debut for the company whilst being a wild card in the Owen. Uh he looked good. I mean, he joined the Don Callis family, so hopefully this goes off to a good start. Hopefully, I'm not too familiar with Josh Alexander at all. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I seen a little bit of a lack of charisma there on
Mhm.
Wednesday. What did you think, man? I mean, I'm happy to have him here. I've heard good things about him, but from what I've seen, from my personal opinion, just from what we've seen on Wednesday, a little bit of a lack of charisma, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Again, like you, I have no really like clue of Josh Alexander. I know of him. I've heard that name for a long time, but never watched him myself. And from what I got on Dynamite, he's one of those guys who's a good wrestler and who's not uncharismatic, but isn't charismatic, which is kind of the vibe I get. He's kind of just a guy, if that makes sense, man. So that's kind of the vibe I got. Hopefully, he either develops something or shows something, that we don't see right now. Um, it's under Tony Khan, so that's not very likely, but I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna hope the best. But so far, he kind of just seems like a good wrestler that got signed, man. And there's a million of them on the roster. A lot of them that you shouldn't have signed in the first place. A lot of them you should probably let go. Either way, you got another one added, and I don't see myself getting attached to them all too much.
Yes, if there was any indication from what we've seen on Wednesday, I am getting the feeling that he is going to get lost in the shuffle rather quickly. Again, he kind of now again, I I hope he gives me the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna and I or I hope I can give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, because listen, people told me the same thing when they brought in Speedball.
I
Speedball has
did.
no charisma. Speedball's just a good worker. He can't sell. I heard it all. I all three of those things have gotten proven wrong. So I'm going to take upon this and formulate my own opinion over time. From what I seen on Wednesday, he kind of just seems like a good wrestler with a badass nickname and no charisma. So,
Yeah,
um, you know,
perfect for Tony Khan.
yeah, yeah. I mean, AEW commentary, they loved calling him the Walking Weapon, and I would love calling him the Walking Weapon too. It's a badass name, but he kind of
I can't wait for them to
had
fuck it
no
up.
charisma. Yeah, they're gonna call him
Josh
like
Alexander,
the fucking running
the
weapon
weapon
or
walk.
the weapon. Yeah, like
That's what they're
the
gonna call the heat of the moment.
100%. So
Good old age. Hmm.
yeah, that's from just from what I seen on Wednesday, and that's just kind of he just that's the vibe I got. Like I said, doesn't he did his charisma wasn't oozing through the screen, I would say. So yeah, I hope that I hope it works out in AEW, because typically those are the guys that AEW likes, but nobody else really cares about. But I hope AEW can make us care about him, because he's got a cool look. He's got a cool look. It's just again, just from what I seen, it just seemed like a bit of just no charisma there. Or it just kind of seemed like there was, he just kind of, again, just a guy that's got a badass nickname and is a good wrestler. So
Exactly. So I hope the best, and I hope that we see a side that we haven't seen yet. But I'm not gonna throw my cards into that.
definitely. Bell, I did not throw my name into the Death Rider hat. I will let you know.
Oh,
I threw my name into the hat of them adding Jack Perry. I would never. I would
oh,
never. I will stick to being a bloodline guy. So I
Notorious Death Rider.
no,
I think that's you, bro. I think that fits you.
no.
Mayhem. You were Mayhem. That would have fit with the Death Riders. I'm just
I
saying.
I am all right. I would rather fucking be in Roppongi Vice. And no, I'm lying. I would rather be in Chase University, bro. At least I get to wear the merch.
Same. Exactly. I could be like that fucking dope ass, hilarious Okada edit of him in the Chase U sweater.
Passed up a huge
I would
opportunity
rather
there. Okada and Chase
very,
U, bullshit.
even though I think they like disbanded right. No, they just recently disbanded, so he
Yeah,
could have joined them in time.
yeah. He could have carried on to fund the school.
The
So
flag, he could have exactly.
missed opportunity there, but um, yeah. So that is the story of Josh Alexander signing with All Elite Wrestling. As we got some news on, with one name coming into AEW, we got one leaving. As a Fightful Select has reported that Sarah Stock has been let go by the promotion, although it is unknown why the coach was released by the company. Fightful did know, however, Stock was known amongst AEW talents to be stern with guidelines. Stock also
Huh.
raised issues over changes to AEW's mental health program and department. Oh my god.
Hmm. Damn, what
Uh
the fuck? They just got a demon in charge of them. No wonder everyone was so screwed up for 2 years.
so Sarah Stock had been a part of All Elite Wrestling since signing with the promotion in March of 2023. She previously was a wrestler primarily in CMLL from 2004 to 2015 as Dark Angel. She also had a run in TNA as Sarita, twice winning the Knockouts World Championships with Zelina Vega. Blah blah blah. Stock worked for WWE from 2015 until 2020 as a trainer and coach at the PC. She was initially furloughed at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic and then released in September of 2020 with others. So she was complaining about, okay, so Stock raised issues over changes to AEW's mental health program and department. And up until this point, all we have known is that has gotten worse. So was she complaining because things were getting worse? Maybe they stopped
Or
caring about the mental health program and department, and she had a
yeah, I would
problem with
love
it.
I would love better word, dude. None of these wrestling journalists never know how to word anything because they, like you said, they can mean very two things. Either she was, upholding, and hopefully like arguing against the lack of that, or she was the one making that situation worse. They don't clarify that at all.
Yeah, they do a pretty horrible job at that. So we don't really know. We don't really know what that means because again, you can look at she raised issues over changes to the mental health program. Well, if we use our evidence correctly, I believe we heard Ray Phoenix talking about his mental health,
Kind of
and there
was.
was a couple other people talking about their mental health as well, and it almost seemed AEW didn't care. So, was she raising issues because AEW started neglecting that kind of thing? Because if she was there in the beginning of AEW, she didn't have a problem in the beginning of AEW, and everybody was happy in the beginning of
Oh,
AEW the first couple of years. So, if I'm using
wasn't
my context clues, that sort of sounds like she might have been upset about them maybe neglecting it a little bit.
wasn't she signed in 2023 though? I think that's what it was read. I think she signed in
Ah,
2023.
she did. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
March of
Hmm.
2023. So, hmm, that
Yeah, we have no like context to what that actually means.
well,
Good old wrestling
I
journalist.
yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Maybe people were happier in March of 2023. I mean, shit kind of went downhill. Ugh. Shit had already kind of.
2023.
When was Brawl out? That was 2022. So the company was sort of. I don't know. I guess the company was sort of in limbo at that point as well. So I don't know. But from what we know from March of 2023 until now, it's definitely gotten worse. So it could mean a multitude of things. But again, just from what I'm reading, it sort of looks like maybe she had a problem with AEW's neglect for it. Because their neglect for it,
Maybe.
we just started hearing about recently with Ray Phoenix.
Yeah,
So I don't know, but yeah. And she was said to be stern with guidelines. AEW got rid
I
of
would
her.
hope so.
So we have another person that I don't know, maybe actually cared about following guidelines in the company that's gone. So I don't know what this means. Again, they don't really do a good job at clarified. I'm trying my best to give you context clues, but who reported that Fightful is not really giving me much to work with here. So I don't know, but
No.
Sarah Stock is gone, and yeah, another person from the company who is out. So
Yeah, but either way, it looks like a bad look. We just don't know what direction of bad luck this looks to be, man. So I hope more comes out about that.
speaking of something that we will probably not be hearing much from, Ryan Nemeth. Well, guys, it's been fun. It's been fun covering this Nemeth case, and this is probably going to be some of the last of it because we brought to you guys a couple weeks ago that AEW they were seeking arbitration in the Nemeth case because of things that we don't know what these things are, things that they didn't want to make public. Apparently, there was a lot of things that they did not want this to be public because it would be detrimental to the company. And this was the report. That's not my wording. That was literally the
Hmm.
report we read.
Fair word.
It was going to be detrimental to the company, whatever had came out. And they were seeking arbitration so they can get everything handled privately. Ryan Nemeth's lawsuit against All Elite Wrestling, Tony Khan, and CM Punk won't be moving to court. Nemeth's attorney has confirmed the case has been moved to private arbitration. Nemeth filed the voluntary dismiss in his lawsuit in the Los Angeles Superior Court on Friday, April 11th and Monday, April 14th. AEW also filed on Monday to dismiss their petition to compel private arbitration. Both sides' filings were made without prejudice, meaning they can refile their claims at a later date. Mike Caspino, Ryan Nemeth's attorney, told Post Wrestling the case was moved to private arbitration, writing, "There has been no settlement. The parties have agreed to submit the matter to private arbitration." Ryan Nemeth filed a lawsuit against AEW president and head of creative Tony Khan and CM Punk on February 14th, alleging assault, breach of contract, breach of implied covenant. My bad. Breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing. A intentional interference with prospective advantage. AEW
A
filed
lot
to
of word
move.
vomit.
Yeah. AEW filed to move the case to Duval County, Florida, and compel arbitration 1 month later, arguing an arbitration clause in Nemeth's contract stipulated any disputes to be resolved in Duval County. Well, this is probably the last we're going to be hearing about this, because AEW, they got what they were looking for, man. They got what they were looking for. Like I said, brought to you guys a couple weeks ago, they wanted to move it to arbitration because whatever, I guess, was being filed against them, if whatever would have came out, it would have been detrimental to the company. What that is, now we will never find out until the next lawsuit. So yeah, that's that. And again, this is probably one of the last times we're going to be hearing about this Ryan Nemeth and AEW case. So yeah.
I'm gonna miss it, man. It was very fun hearing Mr. Ryan Nemeth just say the most craziest things that happened. That is just like the most self-inducing drama I've ever seen. So I'm gonna miss talking about this. It was hilarious, and it was
Oh, it
very
was.
interesting to see what would have came out. But unfortunately, like you said, we'll have to wait till the next lawsuit. And they're setting this all up privately, man. So I'm sure Ryan Nemeth is gonna get his Tony Khan bag from all this, and the drama's gonna all go away.
Yeah. So, like Sir K said, man, it was definitely fun talking about the Nemeth case, because his arguments were just completely ridiculous. But it was the fact. It was the fact of this detrimental to the company stuff that they did not want to get out is kind of what raised my eyebrows in particular, because what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, what possibly could that have meant? So it's very interesting to see, and it sucks that we will probably never know now. But you know, if AEW is doing some really horrible shit, look at, now, not saying they're doing stuff to this magnitude, but look at Vince. If you do
Mhm.
bad stuff for long enough, it will eventually come out. So
Exactly.
yeah. But yeah, so speaking of AEW, we do got some news on some shows that AEW will be doing. As you can see, on your very screen here, we have two new shows that AEW is bringing to us. One is an existing show, just a different location. But the one on top, you see, on Wednesday, June 11th, AEW will be doing a 4-hour live TV special called AEW Dynamite Summer Blockbuster, or AEW Summer Blockbuster, from Portland on Wednesday, like I said, Wednesday, June 11th. And 1 week later, On Wednesday, June 18th, AEW and CMLL have announced AEW Grand Slam Mexico. This will take place at Arena Mexico in Mexico City on Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. And it looks like it says it will be live at 10 p.m. Central. So a bit earlier than we are used to. I like I actually, I mean, you know, Grand Slam is obviously a pre-existing, you know, IP that they've used, but Grand Slam Mexico, I think, is a really cool thing. I think this probably confirms WWE is going to want to one up them and go to Mexico within the next year, just so
Oh,
they can
definitely.
outsell them in Mexico. But no, I think this is gonna be, I think that's gonna be really cool, and I actually really like the new IP that we've got of AEW Summer Blockbuster. I think that's a cool name. I don't know how the 4-hour Wednesday Dynamite show is gonna go, but I can say, you know, I do like the IP, I do like the theme and all that stuff, and it looks pretty cool. So I hope the shows turn out great, and I think these are two huge announcements for AEW and two shows that can hopefully be pretty damn good.
And definitely, man, definitely. I hope so. I'm glad with Grand Slam AEW didn't go the generic AEW route with making Grand Slam like a New York only thing because they easily
Yes,
could have done that. And I'm glad they just use it as a general special Dynamite show. I'm very glad. Mexico sounds very exciting. Very excited for the crowd over there. And for the other one, like you said, I love the new IP. I love the summer blockbuster theme, like the movies and summer blockbuster is a big thing. So I really like that idea for a summer show. I probably would have taken it as pay-per-view, but it's a 4-hour episode of Dynamite. Dynamite's gonna end at fucking midnight that week, so either way, it's a nice IP, and I think it's a good one.
for sure. For sure, man. So, yes, these are your two newest AEW shows announced for the month of June. So it looks like we should be having a pretty interesting all-in build. See, with these shows close, within 4 to 3 weeks away from all in, I hope they don't completely dry themselves out to the point where all in, their biggest show of the year,
Mhm.
ends up getting scraps. So
Mhm.
hopefully not. Um, and to round out the AEW news, actually, well, we're done with AEW news now, but before we get to AEW news, we do have a story for New Japan, as New Japan Pro Wrestling themselves are reporting Tetsuya Naito has mutually agreed with New Japan Pro Wrestling not to renew his contract.
Mm.
He will depart New Japan Pro Wrestling on May 4th. As from what we've heard, they did not want to pay Naito anywhere close to what he was asking for, which don't really know how smart of a move that is at this juncture, because he's one of your OG guys, but okay.
Okay. Usually you wanna keep your OGs, especially when they're one of the only big names in general they have left, but alright. The interesting business decision from them.
Forbidden Door needs to go away. Forbidden Door needs to go
It's
away.
got to.
You are essentially building Forbidden Door off of one match, and that is whoever the fuck Gabe Kidd faces. There is not
Yeah.
anybody over there that is built up enough and is as big of a star for anybody to give a dwindle of a fuck about. So,
Like AEW has so many fucking names they don't use that they could.
yeah.
If you want to make your relationship with New Japan even better, fucking give them those big names that you're not using. Even the fucking mid card names you're not using because they need names.
Oh my god, yeah. Absolutely. Absolute very, very badly. Very badly. Um so Yeah, Naito is leaving. This is very shocking to me, man. This is very shocking to me. I never I never thought I'd see it. I definitely never thought I would see it. And again, if man, to think it was over some money is pretty crazy, man. Because that man, again, he has literally been there for as long as I can remember. So, that
Yeah.
sucks. That sucks. What he does next, um, I don't know. It all depends. I mean, if he really wants to, I mean, if he really cares about the money aspect, he can always go to AEW. I'm sure that they will handsomely pay him. If he wants to work maybe a lighter schedule, I maybe WWE. I personally don't really see that happening though.
No.
I think there's no disrespect to Naito, but I think WWE has bigger free agents on their plate than Tetsuya Naito, being that he is pretty up there in age. So
Hmm.
so I don't know. Maybe he retires. Maybe he goes wrestles for another Japan promotion like Noah or Dragon Gate or wherever else. But I wish him the best, and I'm sure he'll be fine wherever he goes, man. If he does continue to wrestle, I fully expect him to end up in AEW.
Fully, and with his like condition of just, he can't really walk nowadays. Apparently, he can't really see either. It might be in the best interest to have one last Sting-esque run, and then call it a career, man. I think that might be the best way to do it, and I think AEW is probably the safest place to do it in terms of what Tony Khan would give him.
Yeah, and that's if he wants to continue to wrestle because yeah,
It's it,
this
yeah.
is news to me as well. I did not know he can barely walk or see. That's crazy. Yeah, if he's not going to AEW,
He's just retiring,
he
I think.
he might be done. He might be done, man. Maybe he could take his buddy Nakamura with him. So, um,
You just text Stack and just retire, man. Just
yeah,
do it.
please just pack it up, bro. It's over. Um, so we will wait and see what Naito ends up doing next, if anything. So yeah, that is that, and we got some news here on. We got some news here on. No. Before we get to that, we
There
have
you
an
go.
official word from the official sponsor of the Notorious Hills podcast, W Energy. W Energy. Oh, brother. Oh, here we go. Okay. My bad. W Energy is an energy drink loaded with vitamins and nootropics formulated to improve focus without getting the jitters. W Energy is a clean formula that is sugar-free, zero-calorie, free from fillers and artificial colorings, with 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving. You can get your W Energy products today with the link below and code NHP at checkout. Save yourselves 10% on your next W purchase. As always, thank you to the official sponsor of NHP, W Energy.
Truly. Always got to shout out W, man, whether it's work, workout, or it's going to be a long weekend. It's going to be 4 days for us, 2 on the weekend for, well, 3, 4 for you guys if you guys are watching all the shows. If you want to stay up during SmackDown, Mania nights, and Monday Night Raw, try W, man. It'll keep you energized, it'll keep you jitterless, and it's going to taste good all at the same time.
There you go. There you go, man. As always, a shout out to the great people over at W Energy, man. So, let's see. Nick Khan. Oh, actually, we'll dabble into that when we get into the Mania stuff. Well,
Yeah,
actually, a bit of an older piece of news, but this came out Saturday, of course.
of course.
According to Fightful Select, they have an update on Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens is not expected back in 2025. According to those spoken to, It is even quite possible he misses WrestleMania next year as well.
Damn.
Man,
It
this
sucks, dude.
this man, this sucks. This sucks really bad. Um Owens is a guy that I think everybody was enjoying. Everybody was enjoying Owens' heel work, his car promos, his promos in general were great. His matches were phenomenal. He was doing some of, if not the best work of his career right now in the year of 2024 and going into 2025. He was doing amazing, amazing work, telling great stories, having great matches. And it sucks that a guy like that, who put up with Vince's shit for so many years, finally gets his footing and then gets the rug swept out from under him. And we hate to see that happen to a guy like KO because we all know how good he is. And it really sucks to hear that he might miss WrestleMania next year because if you guys watch us, then you guys would know that I fantasy booked Kevin Owens as an early prediction to win Money in the Bank this year, cash in on Jey Uso, win the World Heavyweight Championship, go on to defend it against none other than Sami Zayn at WrestleMania 42 in New Orleans. And the fact that, and just to hear that may not be the case anymore, really sucks. It really
Mm.
sucks. And I wish him the best, and I really can't wait to see him back.
Truly, I can't wait to see him back. I hope his recovery is as good and as, timely as possible, man, but he's got to take whatever time he needs, and I just wish the best in his recovery, man. Stuff's always the worst. And he's gonna unfortunately miss a lot, and we're gonna miss him, and I just can't wait to have him back.
For sure. For sure, man. So we got some news on Joe Hendry. According to Fightful Select, earlier this year, there was an idea of Joe Hendry appearing on Raw. But Ariel Schernerer did not agree with the creative, which would likely have seen Hendry taking a loss. One of the ideas was that it would be a catalyst for a feud with The Miz. You're not telling me he was going to fucking lose to The Miz, were you?
You're gonna have Joe Hendry lose to Mike the Mid in the year of 2025. That's what you're telling me. No wonder that got rejected.
Okay,
I'm thinking of. Okay, go ahead.
first of all, The Miz is on SmackDown. How the fuck would that have worked? And you were going to have the TNA World Champion, lose to the fucking Miz. I don't.
Maybe he,
Oh man. Ugh.
and wanting him to feud with the Miz in the first place is its own beast. But if
Yeah.
anything, why wouldn't you have him win in that scenario? That get to the Miz, that quote nobody like Joe Hendry got to win over him, and then when he comes back, Miz could want that look back. Why would you have him? Okay, whoever
You
booked that is just something else, man.
you put him in a feud with the Miz. The first thing I'm gonna think is, oh, okay, well, Miz is somebody who would take a
Easy win.
loss. This is
Yeah.
just gonna eat. You were gonna have him take a fucking loss to the Miz, and he's not even signed in the. Not only did he get dumped over in the Royal Rumble in about 3 minutes by Roman Reigns, but you have the Miz pinning Joe Hendry on Raw. That sounds like a fucking awful idea.
It sounds absolutely ass, dude. And I guess WWE's in that same mentality they always were, probably always will be. If he's not signed, if he's not in the big leagues with us, then he can't win anything. He can't really look good. So that's unfortunate that that seems to still be in play nowadays.
The only if you're pitching something with the Miz for an upcoming guy, the first thing I'm going to think is, okay, this could be a good test for this guy on the mic, right?
Yeah,
Because the Miz, when he gets
he's a mic
serious,
guy.
when he's not being a goofball, he's fucking phenomenal on that microphone. He is.
Mhm.
And I would, again, the only thing I would think is, okay, well, they want to test Joe Hendry out on the mic. You were going to have him lose in between those ropes to the
In a
Miz
match
in a fucking match.
with the Miz. Dog, who pitched that? That's what I want to know about all this. Who the hell pitched that? No wonder they rejected that.
Which, again, if you say let's bring Joe Hendry in and feud with the Miz, I would say okay. Well, yeah, this is Miz is somebody who could just take a loss. Joe Hendry could
Yeah,
beat him. You know what I mean? Whatever the case is, maybe maybe Miz disqualifies in the first match or whatever, or he low blows him or whatever. Cheats to win something.
yeah,
But
shit.
but but
Yeah,
then this is all for Joe Hendry to get his comeuppance and win the feud.
no, he was just gonna lose, and
Bro
then
was going to
probably
lose to the
in
Miz.
order in order to beat the Miz, he probably would have had to sign like a 5-year deal. Oh man,
Holy
yeah, they never
shit.
change.
That sounds like a fucking awful idea. You know, they got to be better with actually uh they got
Popping up.
one thing they got to be better with the TNA crossover. It's almost like default that the person's going to lose. You know what I mean? Like I want give me some shock. I want to see somebody from TNA come over and win the fucking win a North American title or something. Give me some shock in this. Like when the Hardy Boys face Fraxium. Not saying this should have happened cuz like Fraxium obviously are the kings of that division, but like it just every time there's a crossover title match, it's just so predictable. It's
No,
just like, okay, I know that Moose is not gonna fucking pin Obafemi right now,
exactly.
So
It's they're like I said, they're still in that mentality of they're not signed to us, they're not in the big leagues, they can't beat any of our guys. It's like it'll make the whole thing, it'll make your guys look better in the end, and it'll make them look better in the end if you allow them to occasionally beat one or two of your guys. It's not gonna make you guys look like minor leagues or some shit. I don't get how they still have that same mentality.
yeah, it's a pretty shit mentality to have. That is one thing I do like about the AEW New Japan crossover.
Yeah.
AEW is not afraid to have their guys win. And New Japan's not afraid to have AEW guys win on their turf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't recall Tony Khan really putting titles on New Japan people. At least there might have been a couple.
Might
Maybe
have been like
he's
a random TNT in there or something.
yeah, there might have been some ROH title changes in there with some of the New Japan
Probably.
guys, but like regardless, they're not afraid to have people win and lose. And that's one thing that sucks about the NXT and A crossover is everything just seems so predictable. Like it's cool to see the Hardy Boys and it's cool to see Joe Hendry and at the time Jordan Grace when she was over there. But like I just wish things wouldn't be so predictable. I wish WWE would have a little balls and, have, a TNA person, put over or have
Yeah,
an NXT person put over somebody from TNA. Especially because let's be honest, why are you making Joe Hendry uh look bad? We all know you have him signed. He may not be signed, but he's signed. You all know as soon as that
exactly.
deal is up, Joe Hendry is signing the dotted line to go to NXT. We all know this. So why must you have him be in the Rumble for 5 minutes and then as soon as Roman Reigns comes in, he fucking destroys him? Or look at Look at what they did with Mickey James.
Oh, yeah.
Look at what they did with Mickey James in that 2022 Royal Rumble. She gets in the match, they never film her.
Never film her. They mentioned her title, and then all you see is her chucking her title to the side to enter the match. It's like,
The
dog.
the only time I remember somebody looking really good from the crossover was Jordan Grace in the 2024 Rumble.
Hmm.
She looked like a beast. She looked like a
Yeah,
beast. And again, you should make her look like a beast because what did Jordan Grace end up doing when her contract was up? You guys
I
have a lot of these people signed, bro. It's okay to make them look good.
exactly.
So, yeah, that was the ideas for Joe Hendry to lose to The Miz.
Good lord.
Good God. That sounds horrible.
Hmm.
Speaking of somebody coming into WWE, Jeff Cobb. According to according to Uncle Dave Meltzer,
There you go.
those in WWE have confirmed Jeff Cobb is starting soon. But the only other thing said was that he is not Randy Orton's opponent at WrestleMania. Because it
I didn't
looks
really have,
like Orton's going to be doing an open challenge, at
I
least.
guess. That's what
Um,
it seems like. That's what the reports are rumored to look like. But very interesting with Jeff Cobb, man, and hope he gets shown and I hope he debuts soon.
yeah, Jeff Cobb tried to debunk it with like the classic debunking where they're like wrestlers like debunk it without debunking it. Pentagon did the same thing when all those
Hmm.
rumors happened, and they're like, "Are you going to WWE?" And he says, "I can't focus
Present.
on where I'm going. I need to be present with what I'm doing now." Like, dude, shut up. We all know, we all know, we all fucking know you're going to WWE. It's okay. I know you can't say it, but Jesus, that's like the
But yeah,
unofficial way of saying, yeah, I'm out.
I'm out. Exactly. My present is at
Yeah.
blank company. That means I'm here now until the contract ends.
Braun Breaker did some Steiner math at the WrestleMania
That's cool.
kickoff. I wonder if he called
Yeah.
himself the Big Bad Booty Daddy.
I wonder. Yeah, I wonder how many freaks he got out of the day of the week. Maybe it's 9, you know?
Yeah. Maybe he called someone fat.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't like, people that are fat.
Maybe. So yes, Jeff Cobb is making his way to WWE, and I cannot wait to see whoever gets hit with the first tour of the islands. Because, God, that
Oh,
move
yeah.
is fucking phenomenal.
Oh, it's so dope.
So, another person that is rumored to be coming into WWE, which I've been hearing that Big E basically confirmed that he's coming
Oh,
back.
yeah.
Um,
He said he is.
what
He
exactly
lit-
did he say?
they were doing, how like they do those like signed WWE cards or
Mm-hmm.
something. They were opening those type of packs, and like an old Rusev one, I guess, came out, and he was like, and he literally said like, yeah, he's coming in soon.
Damn.
He
Uh,
literally confirmed it.
That's hilarious. Who is Jeff Cobb? Says Hunter. Jeff Cobb is he's from New Japan. He's wrestled a
Hmm.
couple times in AEW. He is a big Hawaiian guy that does a lot of suplexes, and he is very cool. He is very
Very
cool.
cool.
He has a very badass finisher. It's like a twirling world's strongest slam. It's called the Tour of the Islands. It's one of my favorite finishers in the game. I actually met Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
Um, uh, honest to God, not really the nicest dude to meet, but he could have had a lot on his plate that night, so I'll give him the benefit of the
Totally.
doubt. Um,
Exactly.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was just having a bad day, but he did let me hold his ROH TV title, which I actually felt pride in holding at the time. at the time.
Yeah, at the time.
Now I would probably ask him to hold it and throw it in the fucking garbage. But regardless, he was, maybe he was just having a bad day. But he's a dope ass performer, and I think I think if they find the right role for him, I think he could do very well.
I think so.
But Rusev, Miro, according to WrestleVotes on the Backstage Pass, Rusev is officially back in the fold with WWE, but why are we mentioning this, you may ask? What's his name gonna be? Well, Rusev's name, as appeared on the promotional documents, which signifies his return to the company, is drawing near. He will be using the name Rusev and not Miro, as both parties have came to the mutual agreement that Rusev is the better name and it is more recognizable with the fan base.
Yeah, I mean, that's not wrong.
Yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We talked about I asked, I asked you what you would have liked, and you said Miro, correct?
I would prefer Miro, yes.
Well, man, he
Well, can always do what we want, but
yeah,
either way, it's not like he's got some goofy ass name. So either way, everything's fine.
definitely, definitely. So yes, like I said, we talked about this a few weeks ago, and we gave our opinions on the matter. I thought Rusev was the better way to go, but in saying that, they didn't really have a bad option here. I think Miro's a cool name, but I think Rusev's also a cool name. So I overall think they went with the right choice, more recognizable with the fan base and all those other kind of things. So it makes sense, and I'm excited to see him back, and I hope he can get used, and I just really hope that we don't start to overcrowd this roster. And
Hope not.
this would only make me think that maybe they're going to be doing another spring cleaning soon with all the names they're bringing in, because dude, we got Miro, we just heard about Jeff Cobb. Later in the year, what about Mariah May? We know Aleister Black is coming back. Penta just came in. Phoenix just came in. Ricky Starks just came in. You're obviously going to be calling some guys up within the next year from now until Mania 42. Guys like Trick, guys like Obafemi will be on the main roster.
Mhm.
So I just really hope these guys can find spots, and I hope they can do it in an effective way where people aren't getting overcrowded. Because again, look at the roster you already have. You right now have a lot of names you're not really using. Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne,
Mhm.
you know, not that they're not using this next name, but they could be using him a lot better in my honest opinion. But Chad Gable, guys like the Creed brothers, the War Raiders, Finn Balor, Andrade and Santos Escobar. The list goes on, and Carmelo Hayes. The list goes on and on. So, you know, I really hope WWE can get it together and allow themselves to use these people in effective ways, without completely overcrowding this roster, because I want to see guys like Miro do great. I want to see guys like Jeff Cobb do great. I want to see, when they bring in Joe Hendry, I want to see him do good. I want to see these guys do good. Obviously, Aleister Black, I want to see these guys do good, but I just hope we don't start to run into the problem that AEW has with having an overcrowded roster and an overcrowded men's singles division. So,
I really hope so. I really hope you don't get people getting lost in the shuffle.
yeah. So, yes, Rusev is coming back and will be as Rusev. So, speaking of another guy that is not coming back, Omos. Or will he?
Eh,
I think not.
no.
So Omo, we haven't heard this name in a while. We heard
I
he
know.
was possibly being thrown around for the Royal Rumble. Omo is reportedly not injured and is ready to work. However, WWE has not brought him up in creative discussions. He was working with Noah at the start of the year before WWE called him back prior to the Royal Rumble, according to Fightful. Sir K, what did Nick Khan just say? He doesn't.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
They
go
they
ahead.
don't sign people or use people and bench them. But you call the man back that was doing really good over there, the best work of his career, and you haven't used him a lick since? Hmm. Sounds like benching to me, but what about you, man?
That's exactly what that sounds like to me. It sounds like they benched the fuck out of our boy
That's
Omos.
that's
Um,
a textbook definition of benching.
he was a champion at Noah.
Mhm.
He was a star over there. The people loved him. They went crazy when he got out of the ring. The man had aura in
He did.
Japan. And you called him back, made him give up his tag team title,
For nothing.
and you benched him. Dude, at this point, just fucking release him. Because if the guy has
Yeah.
potential, then you should let him seek it out. You should not let him just be hoarding away on the bench. He is a bench warmer in WWE. Meanwhile, in
Lit-
Noah, this guy was a fucking stud.
They fucking love that man over there. Let him go do that, bruh. Please.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, and it seems like
Hmm.
WWE does not care to give it away because they like hoarding their trash, I guess. I mean, that's a Tony Khan move if I ever fucking seen one. I mean, what is that?
Literally.
You're gonna use him, then put him on television and see what the fuck he's got. And if you give it another shot and it doesn't work again, then just let him go. And if you don't plan on giving him another shot, then just let him go.
It's that simple.
Just let him go, because I'm sure he would want to see what Japan has to offer. I'm sure he would see what AEW has to offer, because I know MVP is a big fan of the guy. Who's
Yeah.
to say he can't, get him a job over in AEW? Who's to say he doesn't want to go see what TNA, MLW, somewhere who can give him work? You're not giving him work, but you want to
Yeah.
fucking tout that you don't bench people. You benched him. You
You
called his
literally
number
benched.
out.
Ugh,
Come on, bro. Either
fucking
give the guy a
hypocritical.
shot. Yes, either give the guy a shot and see what he's got, or don't and let him go. It's ridiculous. So, before we get on to the WrestleMania stuff, we do have some contract news.
Hmm.
See, these are things you should be asking about,
Literally.
not their choice of a political party. Starting
Party.
off, starting off with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was asked about his contract. He was asked about his contract and when that would be coming up. Let me see. Roman Reigns did an interview with Vanity Fair. He revealed that he revealed the time he has left on his WWE contract and his post WWE plans. He says, "After I finish the contract that I'm in,
Hmm.
we're probably going we probably got another year or two max." His contract, apparently, the contract that he's in, ends after Mania 42. So we got Roman until about 2028 max. Then it's time for me to take on a less physical form of entertainment.
I don't know how much he knows about Hollywood, but I wouldn't know about that. But he could go ahead.
Hollywood,
it's a different form of physical, but
I
it's
was
still going to be very physical.
I was gonna say it's physical, but he's not throwing himself at the ground for a living. That's what a stunt double is
Yeah.
for. But he I'll say he'll definitely be a lot busier in terms of places you have to be and whatnot. However,
Hmm.
it is less physical. It is less physical.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you your stunt double is, the guy that is going to take most of the beating for you. And again, you're not necessarily throwing yourself at the ground for a living. But I think Roman will do. I think Roman will do good in Hollywood. He obviously has the connection of The Rock, and he has that connection to get his foot in the door. He's a great actor. He's a great actor. We've seen him be a great actor for years. So I think he will do fine. I think he will do fine, and he's used to taking long month breaks. I don't think that's necessarily going to fly in Hollywood. It's going to be more travel, but it is going to be less physical, obviously, in terms of wrestling. Because wrestling, you're acting and you are your own stunt double. In
Hmm.
Hollywood, you're acting, but you have a stunt double. So obviously that makes it easier. So the physical part is, at least from what we know, the physical part is easier, but the schedule is busier. So as long as
Most
he's up for
definitely.
that, I think he'll do great. And again, we've seen this dude be a top tier actor ever in WWE history for the past 5 years. So I don't really have a doubt in my mind that he doesn't at least have a shot. Not everybody succeeds because it's very hard, but he at least has a shot.
Definitely, man. Definitely got a good shot, and I'm very excited to see what these last 2 years will entail
Fuck.
for Roman Reigns.
Well, honestly, when he says that,
Well,
man, I think
not last, but you know
yeah.
what I mean.
No,
Last full time. Well, full time for Roman Reigns.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. Which if this is full time
Full.
now, I'm scared to see what part time is.
He,
bu-
we
but
thought Brock was different, man. That man's got to be twice a year.
god damn. Yeah, you ain't lying. But yeah, I think once we're done seeing him, full time for the next 3 years, I definitely think I th- I think he will continue to wrestle. I think it will be 2-3 times a year max.
Exactly.
So WrestleMania for sure. SummerSlam if he's feeling up to it. So that's kind of
Probably
what
the
I'm
Rumble.
or a Saudi show. Yeah, I could see a Rumble. I could see him popping in for like 10 minutes, getting his spot in and then getting eliminated. But I could see a Saudi show if they pay him
Hmm.
large enough, but something like that. Three times most a year.
Almost definitely.
So that's the news on the OTC and his contract and when it will be coming up. So, well, speaking of one of his opponents for night 1, the night 1 main event of WrestleMania, CM Punk. CM Punk was asked about the status of his contract on the Masked Man show. He revealed that CM Punk and he revealed that himself and WWE are in talks over a new 5-year contract.
Hmm.
He
And still
says,
going.
seriously, bro. He says, I definitely know I can't go forever. Like this run I've been on, it really kind of washed over me. Where it made me, I can't remember the specific moment where I turned to somebody, one of the Pauls, Heyman or Triple H, and I said, 46 years old, I think I'm starting to understand the business. And that's the business. Your body is going to give up on you way before your mind does. So to me, my mind's never been sharper. I've never been more focused, and there is life beyond. And there is life in wrestling beyond taking bumps and being in the ring. So we'll see what happens. I don't plan on. They're trying to get me to sign a 5-year deal. So I look at that and I go, Guys, I don't know. Man, it's crazy to think all these guys, uh, with Roman or Punk, or we just heard it with Rollins. We heard it not too long ago with AJ. A lot of these guys are almost
All
done,
coming up.
man.
Dude, within like the next 5 years, most of these guys are big guys right now.
Yeah,
They're gonna be retired, man. That's gonna be really weird.
very weird. Um, I will say CM Punk took a gamble in the first place to come back to professional wrestling, and if you look at just his on-screen stuff, this has truly been one of the
Perfect.
best wrestling returns of all time.
I think it
Um,
has been. I think it has been because his AEW run, incredible. You say what you want about the backstage element, but like
yeah,
you said, the on-screen element, incredible. Whole way through, man. Comes to WWE, same thing, man. There was those injury hiccups here and there, but other than that, I think his body finally gotten used to everything in the last year, and I
oh
think
God,
he's
don't
gonna
say
ride
that.
it out.
Don't
Well,
jinx
knock
us.
on wood. Knock on wood. I'm knocking on wood, but I think everything's good, and I think he thinks that and realized that now everything's good. And I think these last 5 years are going to be very great. And I, like you said, I think this might be the best return to wrestling we've probably ever seen.
Yeah, this from an on-screen perspective, man, there hasn't been much bad stuff that he's done.
Well,
So we will wait and see. Again, because like he says at the end of this, he says he's saying, guys, I don't know. So we'll see what he ends up doing, man. We'll see what he ends up doing in terms of his contract, but hopefully everything works out. Hopefully everything works out. I'm sure it will. And I'm sure they will figure out what is best for him and how long he wants to do this for. But I will say, in terms of his matches, for 46 years old to still be putting on matches of the nights, come on, man. I mean,
it's so great.
this dude had one of the best matches at SummerSlam. He had
Hmm.
the best match at Bash in Berlin. He had the best match at Bad Blood, probably the match of the year. In the entire year was a 46-year-old CM Punk.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if you can't fully give Punk credit for this one, but obviously he had an amazing War Games match this past, and again, obviously you got to give the other 9 guys credit for that, um but for him to be doing what he's doing at his age, and obviously looking past, just the in-ring aspect of it, this dude is still a top tier storyteller in this business. I
Yeah.
mean, he is phenomenal, man. He is absolutely phenomenal, and he's still doing great work. Still doing great work. So it's all up to him, and man, it's gonna be it's gonna be sad, bro. It's gonna be sad to see him go for
Yes.
sure.
Most definitely, it's gonna be very sad, but it's been great, and I hope he does those last 5 years, man.
For sure. So we have some, before we get on to the actual WrestleMania plans, we have some scrapped WrestleMania plans or denied WrestleMania plans. As according to Fightful Select, there had been pitches for Chelsea Green to host WrestleMania, but as of this past weekend, there was nothing there. When asking sources, it was noted that once the show is formatted out, it is possible that a skit or segment for her will be added. As of each of the last 2 times I'm asking, this has not been the case. There were also plans via Fightful as well as of today. They say as of earlier this week, Chelsea Green was not planned for WrestleMania, but pitches were made. One source in WWE said that there were pitches for a women's U.S. Open challenge. And the names being thrown around for the open challenge was Alexa Bliss and Nikki Bella.
WWE.
Denied
That's
is Chelsea Green.
literally like not. Was gonna have her as a champion, have a championship defense. Scrap that, and you don't even make her the bullshit host for WrestleMania. Ugh.
You
I
might as well have had Naomi win the U.S. title tournament because at least it would be defended on Mania against Jade Cargill.
exactly. It would have been better in the end because we would have actually seen it on the biggest stage of all. So we see one of the mid card women's titles. It doesn't get defended, but we physically are going to see it for a few seconds. Um, the women's mid card titles were created and already not used. Man, great fucking introduction to those titles.
Yeah, fan-fucking-tastic. so, so, yeah, that is the news on Chelsea Green and her scrapped plans or denied plans for WrestleMania. Hey, again, tried to say it when you created these titles. You don't need them because you're probably not going to use them on 90% of scenarios where you should use them. And here we are.
Crazy. Makes no sense.
Nick Khan.
Oh god.
Nick Khan explains why WWE is targeting holiday weekends for major events. While speaking on the Bill Simmons podcast, Khan explained WWE has shifted its approach when it comes to scheduling, moving away from weekends with packed sporting competition and instead locking in dates where the fans are starved for live content. Who the fuck wants live content on Easter? I'm not
It's
starved on Easter.
I
I'm with my family.
I don't want live content on holiday weekends. I want to enjoy the weekend.
The fuck? Okay, so anyways,
Idiot,
we didn't even get
man.
into the quote yet. We're already burying it. So
Is that bad?
so he says, this is also our first one, at least in the last 5 years, that's not on the Final Four weekend, Khan said, pointing to WrestleMania 41 as a prime example for years. WWE ran head-to-head with the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Now they're opting to avoid that sports clash.
Why?
So what's the new play? U.S. holidays, especially the ones with nothing else, where nothing else is going on. We're trying to figure out weekends that would be advantages for you guys. No, you're not. We've done the American holiday weekends, Khan said. If you think about it, 4th of July. Yeah, that's awful. Because especially for content creators, I love what we do, and I obviously will always choose the podcast over a holiday, but I want to fucking enjoy I want to enjoy my fucking holiday. It would be nice to enjoy my holiday, but obviously I gotta fucking do runarounds. I can't even watch the fucking fireworks on 4th of July, my fucking grandfather's birthday, because I gotta fucking review the goddamn show. Like, anyway, we're not even done with okay, let me stop burying this. I'll bury this in a couple minutes. Okay, sorry.
Exactly.
Okay. We're trying to figure out weekends that would be advantages for you guys. We've done the American only holiday weekends. Khan said, if you think about it, 4th of July, there's such a lack of sports on that people, and this is with no disrespect intended, will actually watch we'll actually watch the Nathan hot dog eating contest, but why wouldn't we do a WWE event on that weekend? So we do. We use similar logic discussing Labor Day weekend. No, you did that because it's an AEW. Okay. Anyways, okay, hold on. Okay, so we've done that with Labor Day weekend, even with some college football competition, and Labor Day weekend, even though that's early college football. Why wouldn't we have a big event? Okay, I'm gonna bury that line in a minute. Hold on. Um, Khan also responded to the idea that fans may not want to attend the shows during holiday periods. For him, the answer is simple. WWE is global, and people now watch however they want. If people are like, "Oh, well you can't get butts in seats." Well, you sure can internationally. It it's
Oh,
obviously not
God.
a holiday there, he said, and now that everyone can watch on their phone, it doesn't really matter what day it is as long as it's not a cluttered sports calendar. Do you, eh,
Can't wait to say it, man.
go
Let's
ahead.
finish
I'm
this
done.
corner
Bury
off.
it. No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
done. Go ahead.
This is the dumbest dog shit mentality I've done ever heard. This screams we fear competition, so we avoid it completely. This makes me feel exactly what I felt when Triple H said his "be a fan, not a critic" line of you're not confident in your product, and you should be. You're WWE. Dude,
Yes.
if you were on, people are gonna watch you over NCAA basketball. At the end of the day, you can combat anything and wrestling fans will watch the wrestling. Most of the time, if you're a wrestling fan, you're probably not an NCAA basketball fan, a college football fan, of this fan, of that, especially a UFC fan. They don't really, intertwine like that anymore. It's more of back to back, but you get my point. It's wrestling. If they're gonna want to watch wrestling, they're gonna want to watch wrestling, man. And the holiday weekend is so bad. You're literally saying, well, you know, you could just watch it on your phone while you're at your fucking family event. No, I want to enjoy time with my family, not
Yeah.
watch your show because you want to not compete with other sporting events when you're not in that same league. I hate to break it to you, WWE. You're not in that same league. You're wrestling. At the end of the day, wrestling is a ceiling in media, and you have to embrace that ceiling rather than trying to do this weird ignore of it where you're pretending you're bigger than you are. You're wrestling. People who watch wrestling watch you. People who don't watch wrestling, you'll gain some viewers here and there, but you're not UFC, you're not the NFL, you're not the NBA. You have to embrace what you are, and what you are should not be on holiday weekends. There's a reason those major sporting events are on holiday weekends because they know people want to spend time with their families. People want to enjoy the weekend off of work. They don't want to watch those shows, and they know their employees want to do the same thing. You don't think fucking Roman probably wants to spend Sunday with his family? You don't think that for your whole roster? It's the most. It's the same thing that we had with the same criticism with Tony Khan for all those years, even still today. You're choosing holiday weekends because you're a rich guy that never had to, your holiday weekends are a rare off for many people. And for many people, it's a day you don't get off, that you have to work, that a lot of people want to choose to work those weekends because they'll make more money. It's the most unworking class fucking move I've ever seen from TKO, from Tony Khan. Same deal. It's just rich people not understanding their audience. And it's a very dumb and disappointing move that is working now because, again, you're doing well, you're doing hot. When you aren't doing well, that mentality, it's going to bite you in the ass, and I hope it does. I
Okay.
hope it does.
uh there okay there is so much there's so much wrong with this. There's so much wrong with this. First of all, we can't get butts in seats, so we'll just get people internationally that will come here. Are you kidding me? That
Kidding.
so that's the mindset we're going with now? Well, if you guys can't show up, we'll just get other people. Way to say thank you to your audience. Way to
Yeah.
reward your audience for being a hardcore loyal fan. And let me tell you, you did not go to Labor Day weekend to
Have no competition.
what did he say? Let me hold on. Let me go back to this.
Fucking Labor Day
We
weekend.
used the logic discussing Labor Day weekend, even with college football competition on. So why did
With the
you avoid Final Four, but you're not avoiding college football?
which is
So
way bigger.
because you let's be honest, just say it. Since we want to name drop AEW or since we want to hint at AEW talent all this weekend, let's talk about why we went to Labor Day weekend. You went to Labor Day weekend because it was an AEW weekend. You didn't fucking do it because of the lack of competition. You went there because, again, you did not go there because of the lack of competition, because you say here it's college football. You went there because it's AEW, so don't even try to sugarcoat that bullshit, because I am not eating that. But if people are like, oh, well, you can't get butts in seats, well, you sure can internationally. I'm sorry, I didn't know Vegas was an international market.
Yeah,
You,
like
you, again, way to fucking say, and if you do, and if he's talking about other shows, again, way to say thanks to your normal working
a lot of it.
class
Mhm.
audience, because, again, 4th of July, Labor Day, Memorial Day, if you work retail, you could kiss those shows goodbye. A lot of people do kiss those shows goodbye because they have to work. It's hard for them to get it off, or they want to work because they can make more money. But that goes with WWE's theme and TKO's outlook on everything just being so business centric and not really giving a shit about their fan base.
No, it's very evident that they don't. It's all business, and that's been the big negative of TKO is it's so corporate. It's in your face corporate. It's unbearable sometimes.
Yeah, and again, you're you're saying we can get people in these seats internationally. Okay, good for them. But for people over here, they're your
Not
where your
watching.
company's based out of, the US, your people are celebrating 4th of July, Labor Day, Memorial Day. Hate to break it to you, nobody fucking likes pay-per-views on fucking holiday weekends. And what's your fucking excuse for doing it on Easter? Because, again, as far as I'm concerned, I have family that I like to go see, that I like to have dinner with. And again, I made it work, and we make it work because of
Yeah,
the podcast
because of
and
you.
just
Mhm.
wanting to be here with you guys, but it's not good, and it's not cool, and it's a fucking slap in the face to your hardcore audience that does actually have family and a life. And not to mention, you've made your shit so storyline centric to the point where you really have to pay attention to small details.
Yeah,
Do you think people are really honing in at the family outing? No, it's turned on
no.
as background noise.
And you try to display yourself as a cinematic movie that you have to watch every detail, but you're also just saying, yeah, you just have it on in the background. No, you make it so you have to pay attention to understand what's going on now. And that if you want to do that, you have to do it in a setting where people are actually focused watching your show. I'm not looking at Roman Reigns' facial reactions to what Heyman does when I'm fucking go grabbing my hot dogs on the barbecue. What,
Yeah.
what are you like? Think about what you're saying and what you're doing for 2 seconds.
uh,
Never give Nick Khan a mic again. And don't interview this man. Let him run the business and shut up.
holiday weekends, again, you are completely just not taking into regard that people in America, people that actually do celebrate these holidays, have a tough time watching these shows because you have to air it on a holiday weekend. Those
And
just no.
Easter is a big, American holiday, but they realize it's a very Christian holiday, and a lot of people outside of America are still under that religion and still use that day to celebrate said religion. So, especially with Easter, the other, bank holidays, you might, have a little something there. But especially for Easter, that is a worldwide holiday. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I don't know. This comment just completely pissed me off because again, you're sitting here saying this now. Well, we can just run other shows internationally. Okay, well, what's your excuse for running the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania, on fucking Easter? That is a horrible idea. And not to mention, your talent. What
Yeah,
if your
they
talent is religious and celebrates Easter? What if they're not even that religious but still celebrate
they just let
Easter?
us
What if they just celebrate Easter because the same reason I celebrate Easter, just
just
to be
for it.
around family, make
Ex-
food, all chatted up and do your thing.
yeah,
That's just completely neglectful to your audience, and that is just completely fucking stupid and business, just strictly business minded. Not everything's about business, bro. People have lives. I'm sorry.
exactly. And if it wasn't for you guys and you in this podcast, most of our personal lives would be greater than pro wrestling. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
People are most likely going to choose their families over you.
Yes.
And I get you're going to get your European shows that'll get some tickets, but and you're going to tell it it's the biggest gate, whatever the fuck. But your prime audience is missing out on a lot, which you already do for your U.S. audience with Netflix on Raw,
Hmm.
and that just gets bad reactions every week. So just continue to alienate your own audience.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. Just that's a weak ass move, bro. And that's pretty shitty to say. Again, well, if you guys can't get in the seats, we'll just go somewhere else. Okay,
Weak
fine.
ass move.
So again, so what is your excuse for WrestleMania, bro?
Tell
Come
me.
on, come on. Um, yeah, it's a weak ass move. Again, people that have families, and guess what? And guess what? This is the funny part. This is the funny part through all of this is you have um oh god damn it. I fucking forgot it.
Oh no,
Uh
no.
my
Hold on,
mind
it might
completely
be
went
coming
my
back.
mind completely went blank, bruh. Uh
Damn. Yeah, never fails.
I don't know. Oh.
There, oh, it's back.
4th of July, right? You like to run 4th of July? You realize a TV is inside of the house, correct? You air these shows at nighttime. Where do you watch the fireworks?
Well, you have it on your phone. You could just pull what? Yeah, I'm watching the fireworks. Let me just prop my phone right up next to my view of the fireworks and watch fucking whatever show is that fucking weekend. Because I'm not gonna look like a fucking idiot. Like, dude, what? Makes no sense.
I don't
Makes
know.
no sense, and that's a
That
weak ass mentality.
yes, that is a incredibly weak move by WWE, man. It's an incredibly weak move, and again, I strongly urge them not to do this again because it just, dude, people want to do other shit. Not everything
Yeah,
is about fucking wrestling, dude.
no, exactly.
Makes more sense to have it on a random weekend because then people can request it off and actually get it off.
People can. It's simpler.
It is. So, yeah, that is that. That is that, and yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Please don't have Nick Khan do interviews again. He completely
No.
he completely
He,
sounds way in over his head about this whole entire business. He's done
oh yeah,
great fucking things, but when it comes to the fan base and pleasing the fan base, he is sounds very fucking way in over his head about professional wrestling. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Very way over his head, and he thinks wrestling is way bigger than it actually is.
Done great things for the company. But when it comes to pleasing the fan base, shit like this pisses a lot of people off. Not to mention other areas that they fail to please their fans in, like their ticket prices. But we will not get into that.
That's a whole another 10, 15-minute rant that we're not gonna get into.
So, we got some news on a little bit of spoiler news about WrestleMania. Not really any matches, just certain theatrics. So I'll go ahead and let you guys click off the video if you don't want to hear certain cool things that may be going down at WrestleMania. But we do got some news on them. I'll give you guys a couple seconds if you do want to pop out for a minute or two. Okay. Well, according to WrestleVotes on the Backstage Pass, there has been speculation that at least two big-time special entrances are planned for WrestleMania this weekend, that being Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Roman
Hmm.
Reigns and Tiffany Stratton will also have enhanced entrances as well.
Very awesome to see, man. Very awesome to see. I'm excited. I like that idea, and I'm glad that, that we get special entrances. I'm glad that is a very Triple H thing that he's always been very key on is, special entrances. I
Yeah.
wish he would be key on special entrance music, but otherwise, special entrances, and that's something we do get under Triple H, which I'm very excited to see how those go.
Absolutely. I think a really cool idea for John Cena would be to line up like a bunch of clones. Kind of like they did at I don't know if you've ever seen his WrestleMania
But
25
yeah,
entrance,
yeah.
but have it be every attire he's ever worn. I think
Oh,
that
that'd be
would
rough.
be fucking
That'd be
tough.
that'd be tough as hell, actually.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty tough. I like you could have a guy dressed up as the prototype, right? And then
Mhm.
you can have motherfuckers dressed as Word Life, John Cena. Then you could go into Chain Gang John Cena, Marine John Cena, all the eras of John Cena and just have it lead up to all his retirement tour, and then you trot him out there in his Vegas gear. I think that would be pretty tough, man. I think that would be
Oh,
pretty
most
tough.
definitely. Oh,
Um,
hell yeah.
it's the last entrance, so let's commemorate every gear he's worn up until this point. I think that'd be tough.
Oh, definitely. I love that idea.
So, and with that, speaking of people singing live, we got CM Punk. According to PW Insider, we can 99.9% confirm, or we can 99.9% expect Living Color to perform Cult of Personality for CM Punk's entrance at WrestleMania this Saturday. The band will be playing live at Las Vegas Fremont Street Experience on Friday, the night prior to night one of WrestleMania. We've obviously seen this sort of entrance before at WrestleMania 29, and I thought they did an incredible job at WrestleMania
Mhm.
29. I thought they did a really great live performance as opposed to other live performances that we've seen. I think Living Color did a great job, and I can't wait to see them. And it's obviously a cool way to give that to Punk for his Mania main event. So I
Most
think
definitely.
that's a cool addition.
I think that's really cool, and I think it's perfect for CM Punk in his first main event.
Absolutely. Because, yes, the Living Color performance from WrestleMania 29, I know that was 12 years ago, so I don't know how they sound now, but that performance was fucking awesome. Um, in the years you've been watching wrestling, what's your favorite live
Mhm.
performance at WrestleMania? And it doesn't have to be
Okay.
one you've seen. What are or just to name a few. Do you have any
Okay.
that stick out that are favorites to you?
Man, I'm always bad at these in the moment. Maybe Braze was really cool.
Oh my god, yeah, that's
Um,
on there for me.
damn. Who else had them? Um,
Hearing
Trying to think.
Code Orange perform Shatter
That
would have
was
been
that was
cool if
really.
the Wyatt Six was on the card. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Triple H. I might say Bray is number one off the top of my head. But what about you?
Braze was awesome. Triple H, Motorhead, I think always did a phenomenal job live performing his
Yeah,
entrances. That's a standout. Roman's 39
that one was
entrance
cool.
was very awesome. With the piano. Um, WrestleMania. Live performance entrances. Uh I would say those just off the
Mhm.
dome. I would say, Motorhead, Living Color is a great one. Bray, I can't remember the name of the band that sung his original theme song, but they obviously did a great job. Um, yeah, probably some of those. But yes, we are getting another Living Color performance for CM Punk. This is his first WrestleMania back since the WrestleMania that Living Color performed for him 12 years ago. This is his first Mania in 12 years.
Crazy,
Uh,
insane.
Obviously, if you don't count last year, which he wasn't necessarily. He was at Mania. He wasn't
Exactly.
on Mania, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm excited for him, and I'm excited to see that live performance, man. I think they're gonna kill it, and I think it's gonna be pretty dope, man. So
Mm,
it's basically gonna mirror because he's gonna have Paul Heyman with him, I would assume. So
yeah.
it's
It's gonna be really
literally,
cool.
it's literally, yep. The last time he was at WrestleMania, he came out with Paul Heyman, and he had Living Color performing him. So here we are, 12 years later, and it's going to be the same thing. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool parallel. Um, Speaking of WrestleMania, the openers for each night. So it is being reported by WrestleVotes on the Backstage Pass that the opening matches for nights 1 and 2 of WrestleMania are penciled in. Now remember, this is penciled in, so it could always be
Hmm.
erased. And night 1, it is going to
I,
be. Huh?
I think WWE confirmed these.
Probably.
Yeah, they
I
confirmed it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're confirmed. So if it doesn't happen, just remember,
Oh,
watch as
it's
a
my
fan.
fault.
No, it's not your
Exactly.
fault. Just watch. Just shut the
Oh,
fuck
you
up
know, I
and
just
watch as a fan.
yeah, no criticism.
Nope.
Eat whatever they give you and
Yep.
love it.
So if Gunther and Jay put on a shit show, just
You
be a
can't
fan.
say anything. Yeah, just be a fan. Just enjoy what you didn't like. You know.
Yeah, exactly. This movie was shit, but I watched as a fan, so it wasn't too
I
bad, I
can't say
guess.
nothing. Yeah.
Um, Jey Uso and Gunther will be opening night 1. LOL. This is we hope this isn't shit. So if it is, at least we get it out of the way first thing.
Exactly. This is the ultimate test because this is the no faith match, as I call it, and yeah. So it's opening night one, so never fails. Great to see they have faith in this match.
Amazing. Amazing. And to open night 2, we have Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Rhea Ripley, for the second year in a row, is in an opener position. Last year it was night 1. This year it's night 2. She will be opening the show. Did you hear CM Punk say he would have rather gave the main event to Io versus Rhea versus Bianca?
Man, just be saying shit to be nice. He lying his ass off.
Yeah, he definitely is. He definitely is. For sure. But the thing is, the thing is, man, the only plausible reason I could see them putting that triple threat in the main event of night 2 is because there's going to be a huge angle with Paul Heyman. That's the only thing I could think of.
Oh, there's gonna be some massive ass angle. 100%.
Yeah. So Io, Rhea, and Bianca will be opening up night 2. I think for what you got on night 2, I think obviously you don't want this too close to Cody and Cena. So why not have it open? If you have
Yeah,
your two biggest matches on the card, I think in today's standards, one should always open and the other
one
one
should
should
always close.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah. So obviously, you're always gonna have a 1A and 1B. Obviously, for night 2, it's Cody Cena, Rhea Bianca Io. So
mhm,
your 1A is going to be your closer, and your 1B should almost always be your open, unless for whatever reason you want to really make the fans wait to see it. Then obviously.
exactly.
But these are your openers, and I think these are okay. I think the Jey Uso and Gunther move is a really smart move.
I think it's literally the first match on the whole fucking weekend.
Yep,
So if it's ass, people are gonna forget about it instantly. So
exactly.
it's a smart move for them. It's a no faith move, and it's exactly what we expected. But it was smart nonetheless.
Yeah, hopefully Jay
Hopefully, it's
can
not a
turn out
failure.
his banger that he's been talking about putting on a singular banger for like the past
Whoa.
fucking year and a half. And it hasn't happened yet. But
Hopefully, we see
hopefully
it finally.
hopefully he gets his banger, man. So yeah, those are your opens. Um and we got some news on the final boss. According to WrestleVotes, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is likely to be at WrestleMania in Las Vegas, Nevada this weekend. Now, there's a little bit more news with WrestleVotes also gave a little bit more insight on the topic, stating that The Rock will be involved in some fashion this weekend. The report that while many on the inside aren't clued in either way, a source who is familiar with the plans, said they could not speak on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, we all know this is probably why The Rock. This is probably why this whole show is moved in the first place. Other than Nick Khan's obsession for wanting to get some sporting events on, this is probably one of the other main reasons why it's moved, so he could participate. And he will be there, and he will be involved in some way, shape, or form. And I think we all expected this anyway. So I'm excited to
I
see
think
what they
so.
got in store, man.
Very excited. I think we might see him both nights in some variation, and it's going to be very interesting.
Absolutely. So that is the news on The Rock and where he will be this upcoming Sunday, I would assume. So, before we get to the WrestleMania predictions, man, the WrestleMania stage.
Mm-hmm.
WWE have put this image out as here you can see your official stage for WrestleMania 41. Hey man, I'm loving this stage, man. I think this looks fucking awesome. Obviously, you see the buildings up top with the big WWE logo. You got like the pillar type design. Um, I think this looks awesome, bro. How are you feeling about this stage?
I really like it, man. I think it's really good. Very grand. And I'm glad that's what we got. I'm glad we got a very big, grand stage. If I were to nitpick a little, I would have liked it, a little more gambling themed esque. But
Mm.
overall, I really like it, and I think it's great. And I'm very grateful that we got a good, big, cool looking WrestleMania stage.
Yes, this looks very grand, and we've seen a couple videos of like entrance rehearsals, and we've seen people's
Hmm.
trons on here. It looks awesome. It looks awesome. I'm actually really loving this stage, man. I think this looks really cool. Yeah, it almost kind of reminds me of what was that? SummerSlam '07 or '08. Kind of got like the
Mm,
pillar type look like movie theater kind of look going to it.
Yeah,
I think it looks awesome, man. I think it looks awesome. I could see your gripe about the gambling and whatnot, but nonetheless, hey,
still great.
yes, at least it's something big and it's grand.
Thanks.
We know you didn't sell out the arena, so we know you got space to create a big grand stage. And yeah, this looks fucking awesome, man. I love this, and I can't wait to see how this comes across on television.
Almost definitely. I cannot wait to see it.
All right, man. Oh, the middle opens up when a wrestler comes out.
Oh,
Oh, that's really
it's like a
cool,
stage. That's really cool. Again, this would probably been even maybe a little better stage if you were doing like a theater themed WrestleMania, but otherwise, that's really fucking cool.
for sure, for sure. All right, WrestleMania predictions. Starting off with night one. The first match to predict is Jade Cargill
Mhm.
versus Naomi. Let us know what you guys think in the comments on all your predictions, man. But who do you got?
I would love for Naomi win. She's been really great in her
Yes.
role. But I think it's going to be an obvious Jade Cargill win.
I think so too. I think so too, man. I think we're going. Yeah, I think we're gonna see Jade Cargill win. I would love to see Naomi win. She's been doing really good work, and I love what she has been doing in all her promos. I think she's just killed it across the board. I think she's been very solid. This is obviously going to Jade Cargill, but will Jade Cargill get exposed here?
Probably. But, there's a chance. She might show out and tweak out, but I doubt it.
I really hope she starts tweaking. I really hope she starts tweaking, but odds are probably not. It's probably going to be something of
Probably not.
a Naomi Carey job. However, the next match, the match everyone's filling the arenas to see, the War Raiders defending. Hopefully, they have a cool entrance.
I hope so.
The War Raiders defending the Raw, or I keep calling it the World Tag Team
Damn, yeah.
Championships against the New Day. I think,
Uh,
I honestly think, I know WWE doesn't listen to social media, but I honestly think they've seen the backlash about people talking about how they've failed the New Day
well,
ever since the turn
mhm.
on Big E, and I think they're going to put the tag titles on him here.
No, that's exactly what I think. I think they're gonna listen to fan backlash and they're gonna try to prop up the New Day by giving them the tag titles right here. You're exactly right. Even though they don't do that, but I think they're gonna do that.
Definitely. Definitely. I think the New Day will somewhat cheat to win and do what they got to do to win the tag team championships. Nothing will change in the division, of course. I definitely think, though, that SmackDown tag division is way too top heavy for its own good. You got
Hmm.
to split some of those because you have a lot of big name tag teams over there. Street Profits, DIY, and Motor City Machine Guns. They somewhere along the lines, they got to get
Someone's gotta
split up.
move.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. So yeah, I'm going with the New Day here. I think WWE's a little hung up on the backlash for the dropped ball of the New Day heel turn. So yeah. Next up, Rey Mysterio versus he is El Frozen Americano. Ah, there he is. Okay,
Oh,
he's
hey, Mac.
yes, you
Oh,
you you were El Frozen Americano for a minute. He is El Frozen again. Okay. Well, yes, we have the next match. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. I am predicting. I am predicting I'm This one could go either way for me. I'll say I will say, yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and say Grande Americano loses here. I think he gets his mask ripped off. I was gonna say I could maybe see Gable winning, but then, Ray rips the mask off after the match to get the moral victory. But actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and say that just for the godforsaken odds that Chad Gable finally gets not only a WrestleMania singles match, but he actually gets a victory. So I'll say Gable wins here, but then he gets his mask ripped off, and Rey Mysterio gets the moral victory.
I would love that. I would definitely love that. I think the most likely is going to be, the generic Ray wins, unmask him. Oh, it's Gable, blah, blah, blah. So hopefully we get a Gable win and you can still kind of do that whole thing. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going to go with Ray,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Tiffany just did an interview, and she literally says on the interview, it might be a good thing if I lose, because I don't want to be on top for too long, because then it just gets boring.
It's already boring.
Unfortunately. Yes, WWE has made this thing already boring. However, it pains me to say it. It genuinely pains me to say it.
Same.
I think Tiffany's gonna fucking lose. I think she's gonna lose this,
Oh, yeah.
and the backlash is gonna be even fucking worse. And I don't know what they expect, but it's gonna be even worse. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say this is a Charlotte victory.
Yeah, I doubt Charlotte's going to let up in her victories and her achievements of title wins. I think it's an obvious Charlotte win, unfortunately.
Yeah. So for the United States Championship, the champion LA Knight will defend against the Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu. This is another one that could go either way, because I could see LA winning this match because of a solo interference. I could also see LA losing this, and maybe, maybe he gets some fresh scenery, maybe he jumps to Raw. Honestly, I would like to see Jacob and the Bloodline jump to Raw. I think they've been on SmackDown for so long. I think SmackDown could use a nice little shakeup in that regard. But I think he'll end up staying on SmackDown. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and give this to Jacob Fatu, man. I'm gonna give this to Jacob Fatu, and I think him and Solo then feud over the US title.
I could definitely see that. I think it is one of those 50-50s where either or could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob could lose to Solo trying to help him, or maybe he's not trying to help him. Either way, that could happen. But, like you said, maybe they want them to feud for the U.S. title, and maybe they want, hopefully, LA Knight to go on to bigger pastures. So in that hopeful idea, I'll go with Jacob Fatu.
Definitely. Definitely. So, for the last match on night one for the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther versus Jey Uso. Well, I think we all know where this one's going. My bad.
Unfortunately,
Second to last match on night one. My
I
bad.
was gonna say but unfortunately, I think we all know where this is going. I would love for it to be a Gunther squash and Jade gets destroyed, but that's not gonna happen. They're not gonna go with the better option. They're gonna go with the fan, live audience reaction, and it's gonna be a Jey Uso win, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah.
regret this so much this summer.
Yes, they are.
Ugh.
This is an obvious Jay victory. This is a Gunther squash. And the last 4 minutes of the match, Jay mounts a comeback and gets the unbelievable victory. But the
Yep.
question is, will
Hmm.
Jay finally get his oh so elusive banger? I don't
God,
know.
I fucking hope so. Because if not, then it's another list of possibly worst match on Mania. Hopefully, he doesn't have it 2 years in a row. That's all I hope for.
And for the last match of night one, the triple threat match. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. Hmm.
It's tough.
I
It you have. Mm-hmm.
was going to say, this is between two guys for me. It's not Roman Reigns.
That's exactly my thought. You either have the Seth or the Punk. Either way, I think Seth is heavily involved in the ending sequence. He was talking about sacrifice. Maybe he pulls Summer. What Survivor Series did he pull that move as the Messiah where he like sacrificed
20,
himself?
2020.
Yeah, maybe at the end of the match he does something akin to that. Maybe that's what he was talking about with sacrifice, or maybe, something else is a sacrifice. Either way, I think it's Punk or Seth. I would. It's Punk's first WrestleMania main event, so I feel like that might give him the edge. But I think story-wise, the edge should go to Seth. I think it's a real 50-50 for me. It's every way they want to book this. I think Seth kind of deserves it the most, if I'm being honest. But I think, to me, it's genuinely a 50-50 between Punk and Seth.
Yeah, I would say that, man. I think if Rollins is a part of this whole Rock and Cena thing, I
Goes to
think
him.
I think Rollins will win. If they want to do something, if they want to do something, I guess more on the safer side, they will give
Hmm.
Punk a feel good victory at the end of this, especially if you do want him to eventually challenge for the WWE Championship. But there is other ways to get there, and I honestly think something happens with Paul Heyman that mentally fucks up Roman and Punk, and I think Seth capitalizes on that. I'm gonna go ahead and say Rollins here.
Okay, if I had to, if I, 50-50, but if I had to put anybody, I think I'm gonna go with Rollins too. I think I am.
Yes, sir. And for night number two, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan
Uh,
versus Bally and Lyra Valkyria. Who eats the pin? Ooh, if Rollins wins, Punk eats the pin.
I, it's either Punk or Rollins. Roman's probably not taking the pin. He should. At the end of the day, if I was booking the match, it would be Roman take the pin no matter the
But
scenario.
but
But
see
they're not doing that.
the thing is, if Heyman actually fully turns on Roman, I could see Roman taking the pin.
I could. I doubt it, but I could.
Yeah,
That's what I would do personally. I would have Roman. If I was booking this Mania this year, Drew McIntyre would be pinning Roman Reigns this year, but that's not happening. Either way, I would have had Roman Reigns
yeah,
pinned at WrestleMania this year.
for sure, for sure. Um, this is I if I did throw out the option, maybe Bailey gets hurt, Becky ends up being Lyra's replacement, they lose the match, Becky turns on Lyra, maybe something like that. Either way, this is going to Liv and Raquel.
Yeah, no matter the scenario, whether they turn on each other there or something else happens, we get a surprise bet. No matter what, Liv and Raquel are retaining.
For sure, for sure. The Sin City street fight between Mr. I don't know why the fuck I'm on a WrestleMania card, Damian Priest, and the man himself, the man that got fucked out of this year's WrestleMania, Drew
Yeah.
McIntyre.
Yep.
The
If it is not,
if the yeah, go
uh,
ahead, you took the words right out of my mouth.
If this is not a Drew McIntyre demolishing Damian Priest result, you did it wrong. You
Yes.
did it wrong. This is exactly what he needs to look like $1,000,000. He needs to destroy this fucking main event fraud on WrestleMania. He needs to. Either way, no matter what, if Drew McIntyre is not the winner, you have failed him completely.
Immensely. Yes. Yes, you have. So, yeah, that is that. Next up, AJ Styles and Logan Paul. AJ.
Yeah, I think it's a definite AJ win. Logan can take the loss. He's not really legit, but he's not a legit guy on the roster.
Yeah,
And it's good. It's gonna look good for AJ. He's gonna prove the young over his head guy wrong. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
for sure. We don't have a picture yet because we don't know what the hell he's doing. Randy Orton. Who does Randy Orton face, and does he win?
If It's tough because because Randy Orton, if they're doing what they're obviously doing at Backlash, which is Cena versus Orton, you would think you would have to have Orton win something, and a lot of the people he could face also should win their first match back. So it's a very tricky situation. I think the best scenario out of this is it's Nick Aldis and Randy Orton wins. I think that's your best scenario out of this. I don't know if that's the most likely, but I think it's your best way to do this.
Yeah, I think Nick Aldis is the best option.
I think so.
I don't know if they will do that. I At this juncture,
Well,
dude, do not be
I-
surprised if you do see a new debuting guy on
I-
facing Randy Orton. But I could see Orton still beating this new guy. I don't know how that will look.
yeah,
Uh maybe you trot Rusev out there as Rusev Day, he loses, and then on SmackDown he just completely fucking throws everything away and just says, Rusev Day failed him, and he's still a loser if he, follows
I would
behind this
love that.
Rusev Day shit. That's a way you could
Hmm.
do it. That is a way you could do it. That could be a way if you do want to do a guy like that. Nick Aldis is just such an easy option, though. I don't know
So
how.
perfect.
I don't know how you don't do that, but hopefully maybe we get a little bit of an indication tonight, but we will have to wait till Sunday to see. But the next match
Mhm.
for the Intercontinental Championship, Braun Breaker versus Penta versus versus Pin
There you go.
versus Dominic Mysterio.
Well, I think you already spoiled it. I think
Yeah.
we know who's going to take the pin. It's the easy scenario. Dom pins Finn.
Yep.
I think no matter what, he's going to be celebrating with the IC. Liv and Raquel are going to be celebrating with him with their tag. I think that's very obvious. I think it's a good way to do it.
I think so. I think Dom pins Pin, and I think obviously Pin is going to be pretty upset. The next night he's going to come out. He's obviously going to be very irate, and I think that's when they'll turn on him and kick him out of the Judgment Day. Because
I think so. It's
Dom,
long overdue.
yeah, definitely,
It was
it is
overdue at the start of
fucking
the year.
dude. I predicted they were going to turn on him. I swear to you, I predicted they were going to turn on him on that first Raw on Netflix, and here we are in fucking April, and this Judgment
Fucking
Day is still together.
fucking 4 months later, and it's still fucking going, man. Please end it on Monday. Please.
Man, yes, Pin is getting pinned. Absolutely. Dom,
Oh,
yeah,
1,000%.
that's my final prediction. Dom pins Finn. Dom pins Pin, and there we go. So this one's tricky. For the Women's
Mm,
World Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky versus Bianca Belair.
very interesting, very tricky match. Multiple factors that make it tricky. You have Bianca's streak at WrestleMania that that I do see them wanting to upkeep, but the way you book this match, Io should be winning the way you book this match. So it's a very tricky situation. I think Rhea is the least likely to win in this scenario. It's always possible. They fucking love Rhea. But overall, if I'm a betting man, I still think Io is your safest option because with Bianca, you could always say the distractions from Naomi and, the whole Jade thing could come into factor, but it also maybe might make that situation look better if she, wins the title in complete ignorance of Jade, and that could make that possible feud better. It's very tricky. Very tricky. I think it's either Io or Bianca. I'm gonna put my hat in Io.
Yeah, we've talked about this the past couple unscripteds. I think Rhea is the least likely because of lack of creative from this point forward. I mean, if Rhea wins this, dude, what do you do with
What do you
her?
do?
You know,
Yeah.
Bianca, I don't really want to see Jade competing for a world championship now, but Bianca at least has the story with Jade that can kind of suffice for her getting the world championship. Io has been treated as the little sister in this to the point where I feel Io almost has to win. So I'm gonna go
Has
ahead and
to.
say Io, and then we go into Evolution, and Io fights Asuka for the championship.
And Durante mentions in the comments, they keep saying, Rhea hasn't beat Io. I think they want to keep that. And if anything, I see Io pinning Rhea again and then keeping that situation in their pocket for future use.
Yeah, because you're keeping that situation in your pocket, and you're also then upholding Bianca's little streak. So
Exactly. So I think it works best if Io pins Rhea and they continue that kind of underlying story they have.
yeah, for sure. But don't be surprised if Bianca wins and goes on to
I wouldn't.
face Jade Cargill for that championship. So
Exactly. And if whoever Bianca pins, you still have the idea that Rhea hasn't pinned Io, so no matter what, I think it's going to stay after WrestleMania.
there you go. So and next, the match that we're all here to see, the main event, the WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena.
Can't wait.
Dude,
Um,
I am fucking pumped for this match.
so pumped. Can't wait to see the video package.
Oh,
Can't wait to see the entrances, the moment, the match. I can't wait to see it all, man. And Cody cannot win. That would be atrocious if Cody wins. Cena has to win. There's no way you could do it with Cody winning.
Cody cannot win this match.
He cannot.
I mean, Cody. Yeah,
Le-
there's
Less of, less of Cody can't win. Cena can't lose, is what it really is.
pretty much. Yeah, I think Cody. You know, you need. With everything that happened, if you really want to justify John Cena's heel turn, if he
You have
walks into this after turning heel and fucking loses, that is going to look so bad
yeah,
as for his heel character. I mean, now look,
look horrible.
he said in interviews before, there's a lot of plot twists, so we don't know what that means, but I could tell you one thing I hope it doesn't mean, and that is John Cena turning heel to go to WrestleMania and then
And
fucking
fucking lose.
lose to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes will have many more championship reigns. He has been the champion for a year, a little over a year at this point. John
Yeah.
Cena needs to take this championship. He needs to justify the heel run, and he needs to do what he said. You need to make his heel run legit. It is not made very legit if he loses. So, this is an obvious John Cena win for me.
Most definitely. Very obvious, very needed John Cena win.
Yes, and that is it. So, with all of that, that is gonna do it for this edition of the news and the WrestleMania 41 predictions. I hope you guys are excited, man. I'm excited to hang out with you guys for this whole weekend of shows. This is going to be fun. This is going to be very fun. This is obviously one of my favorite stretches out of the year to do. That being these little 4 days that we do with WrestleMania, obviously, and then following into Unscripted. But with all of that, yeah, that is going to do it. I hope you guys do enjoy the show. And we are excited. We are excited as ever to take forth on this weekend, man. So with all of that, thank you guys to everybody who showed up. We hope you guys are going to be in the live chat, man, discussing WrestleMania both nights. We cannot wait to see some of you guys there, man. Hunter, Durante, Bell, Rainmaker, Carol, and I think that's everybody. Yes. Thank you guys so very much for joining us here today on this edition of the news. This has been episode 262. Thank you guys so very much. It has been always a pleasure for my Johnny.
You're nice, okay.
And that is going to do it for this edition of the Notorious podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 262 of the news. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you all tomorrow night with the WrestleMania Saturday post-show review.
Peace.